Hey guys, do you like charity?
Gamers, we have a big announcement. We are going to be doing a 24-hour charity stream. You heard that right.
So the world situation kind of messed up right now for all sorts of different reasons. So we thought we would come together, stream for 24 hours to support Doctors Without Borders on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Trash Taste Podcast. What are we going to be doing on that stream though, is the question you're probably asking.
Games. We have a bunch of different things planned, including guests, games, and humiliation. And Joey will eat a ghost pepper, maybe. Who knows? If we raise enough money.
Maybe.
So make sure to open up that wallet to make sure that Joey can suffer.
That's the reason we're doing it.
I'm not here for the charity. I'm here to make Joey suffer.
So the event will be starting 11 a.m. Japan time on the 19th of March. If you live anywhere else in the world, here are some just basic time zones that hopefully Mudan is putting on screen right now. If not, look it up yourself on Time Converter. But yeah, it'll be going on 24 hours and we'll hopefully change the world for the better, even for a little bit.
And on with the episode.
Oh, why did you have to do that on the mic?
Why not?
Pretty sure that's how Down with the Sickness starts.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, we don't get copyright claim.
You can't, right? Not for that.
Sorry, I was too perfect in my impression of Disturbed.
Welcome to this episode of Trash Taste, and today we're going to be comparing our musical tastes.
Our trash taste in music, or good taste. Who knows? Maybe one of us has good taste in music.
You know, I've
Said no one watching this.
Unfortunately, we can't plead the fifth in Trash Taste episodes, which I would love to do, because I don't really know how to describe music very well.
Okay.
We've established that very early on the Trash Taste law, right?
Yeah, see, we've established that with Connor, but I also have been shitting myself with the thought of this episode, and especially when it came to like picking my choices. One, it was super difficult because I didn't know how to describe why I liked like the picks that I picked. I just know that they were important to me at a time in my life.
We got to see why we like it. Fuck, I'm fucked. I'm fucked.
Well, yeah. I guess like, on what basis did you pick it? Because it's like, I guess Garnt was saying that like it was an important artist in your life, right? Yeah, mine is also kind of based on that in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, first question: how did you boys? What method did you use to like pick your artist? I don't know.
Songs sound good. I put down.
Yeah, Connor's method
Song
is,
good.
do I remember the artist's name? I'll put it down.
Yeah.
Because actually, like, my biggest difficulty, right, is that I like a lot of songs, but I don't know if I like a lot of artists. You know, like I like certain songs from certain artists, but like. I feel like I'm more like I get into genres of music, or like I get into like a certain genre more than I get into this one specific artist or this one specific band. And if I do, it's like very, very, very rare.
I think that's like pretty normal.
It's like food, you know. It's like I like French food. I don't like all French food.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the way I see it. It's like, but I do like all Mexican food. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. That's kind of how I view it.
For me, it was like I'll you know, I couldn't just like reach into the nether and grab a band, because I'm sure if I did that, I'm sure there'd be like a million other bands that I just completely forgot about. So I was like, all right, I'll split it into genres. So I was like, all right, I like metal music. Fuck. That didn't make it any easier.
I'm like SpongeBob writing with my first four picks. I'm like so confident, like, oh, this one, oh, that one, okay, oh, this one, okay, wait, what else do I listen to? Oh, shit.
I literally went, okay, so, you know, we had our first 4 or 5 picks that was, you know, easy, came to our head. Yeah. And then, like, I went through my Spotify to try and see if I could narrow down anything else that I could, like, talk about or was important to me. And the more I scrolled, the more I'm just like, what the fuck is my music taste? What is actually this like collection of songs that I've put together that defines who I am? I tried to psychoanalyze this, and I'm like, I don't know what this fucking.
That's what I love about doing these 3x3 episodes, is that more so than our audience trying to figure out what our tastes are, we find out what our own tastes are. Like,
I already want to change some of my picks, but we'll go with it.
We'll go with it. Well, some of my picks were like I chose one band, but it was more of just like I wanted to pick one band just to talk about several bands that I wanted to put in this spot.
Get those excuses out now, Garnt.
Yeah,
Get them out.
yeah.
Get them out. Set them up. Set them up.
Yeah, that's definitely why I picked
this one.
Yeah.
This was that orphan that one time that I saved. He loved this song, and I also loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like, now that I think about it, I have like such a different relationship to music than I do to like other forms of media. You know, like I have like really games that I could talk about forever about like why I really fucking like this game. Same thing with movies. Same thing with anime, obviously. But like with music's always been this one enigma for me, because music's just been this one thing where I like certain things. I don't know why I like it. I just like it.
It's because most people, when they listen to music, I just like it. No explanation.
Sorry, that was terrible.
I think it's just because like most people, when they listen to music, don't think that deeply about what they're listening to. Like there isn't a guy that like runs into the room and is like, explain what you're listening to right now. It's like, the drums are good.
Yeah.
It's because like, you know, when someone's like, what's your taste in music? You can just be like, metal. You know, you don't have to.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, okay. And then that's it, right?
Yeah, like when people ask me what my taste in music is, I'm just like,
yes.
Yes, I like I like every. I like
songs.
I hate being that guy who just goes, I like a bit of everything. Because it's just like the generic answer, but I literally don't know how to answer that question aside from I like a bit of everything.
Should we stop giving excuses to ourselves?
Go on. This is it.
Oh, we're gonna do Trash Box Goon?
Yeah. Bringing back Trash Box Goon
as per tradition.
Yes.
All right, so
I don't want Joey to go first.
I don't want to go first either.
Because I don't want
to follow Joey.
I don't want to have Joey like give him this fucking presentation, this PowerPoint with animations about why he likes Metallica.
My goal for this episode is to not be that pretentious music snob.
We need you to be that pretentious.
I don't want to be that pretentious music snob.
Because you need to like counteract me and Connor going, I like the beeps and the boops, and I'm being like, well, the voice sounded nice. I like the voice, and I'm just like,
I like the voice. Could you?
Oh, it's
Connor
first.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
This is going to be tough.
All right.
This is like my mum's going to walk in and there's just shit everywhere. And I'm like, listen, I can explain. This has a reason. This is a weird 3x3, I think. Some of them you'll expect, some of them you won't. Also, I try to choose a funny image for some of them.
I can think of at least 3 bands.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Can you actually? Can you really?
Yeah.
I thought only one.
No. There's
I
at
can
least.
think of definitely one.
No, I can think of at least 3.
All right, we'll find out.
Let's find out.
Do you like the image I chose for the weekend?
Where did you get that image of the weekend?
That's like the famous picture. This is a weird one. So
I got the 3 that I thought.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
What was the 3 that you thought?
Daft Punk, Weeknd, and Tame Impala. I knew he was going to put that on.
Well,
there.
Joey knows I love Tame Impala.
Yeah.
Joey knows that.
And Daft Punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Bo Burnham on the left.
Yeah, I got Bo Burnham. I want to talk about Bo Burnham.
Oh, yeah. That shouldn't surprise me.
Undy.
Do you know, this is kind of like, we'll get into this.
Yeah.
Right.
This is more about city pop in general.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I don't think I know the rest.
This is Parcels. I love
Parcels?
Yeah, so they're kind of not well known, but it's very similar vibes to Daft Punk. Plus, this is a Breakbot over there. You know Breakbot. You don't know Breakbot.
Yeah, I know their song though.
You know the Baby I'm Yours, the Ladies and Gentlemen We Got 'Em song.
Oh, that's Breakbot?
That's Breakbot.
Okay,
but, the rest of their songs are amazing.
Okay, I've listened to some of their music. I like their songs fucking slap.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
I don't know if I know them.
You know that.
You've definitely heard the main meme.
You know the meme song.
Probably.
Oh,
okay, yeah, that's
that's right. Now, have you ever listened to that song without it being bass boosted?
No. I only know that song bass boosted.
Well, okay, so I mean, there's not much. The band I listen to the most. It's definitely like these 5 are the ones I listen to right now.
Yeah,
right.
I love The Weeknd.
Yeah.
He also dropped the new album, and I fucking love that album.
Yeah, that's a great album.
I guess who do I want to talk about first? Who should I talk about? Who do you want me to talk about first?
Let's.
I guess you've talked about
who's the Parcels?
Parcels?
Yeah. Let's talk about Parcels because I don't think Gone Night.
So they're a band right now. I believe. Okay. This is going to be hard to talk about because I don't know a lot about a lot of these people. All I know is that I play their music an awful lot.
Okay.
I think they're a band that is based in Germany. I don't think they are German.
Okay.
But they live in Germany and they do kind of like. It's very like funk, but also oh, how do I describe music to people? I only know peeps and
Because
poops.
like the guy in the
I can literally see Connor's like brain cells committing suicide as he's like trying to
don't
process
know.
this.
because
to
I'm not gonna
explain.
lie, like I looked at this picture of Parcels and the guy at the back in the middle looks like George Harrison.
yeah,
like,
it's weird, right?
yeah, they look like Beatles if they were around today.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like they don't. I don't know.
Parcels are an Australian electropop.
Oh, they're Aussies.
Electropop,
Aussies?
man. Aussies?
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Electro
Let's
pop.
go.
Electro pop. There we go.
Electropop.
It's, you know, a lot of the things you can see like the influence of like if you look Daft Punk in the middle and
Yeah.
you kind of like little parts of Daft Punk they've experimented in.
Yeah.
That's probably where I like because it's
Yeah.
like I think my favorite Daft Punk album is like Discovery, which I've put there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't think there's many songs in Daft Punk I don't like.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
from the first album is probably the one I don't like the most because it's very like more experimental as opposed to the other stuff they did.
Yeah, it's a little more like rudimentary for sure.
And some of the songs in the first album, I cannot remember the name of the first album, the one with the AM on the front of it. Literally, I think it might just be called
Yeah,
AM.
I mean, I feel like I only started
Can't
listening to
remember.
Daft Punk after like, what was it the Homework album?
yeah,
Was that the
Homework
one?
was the first
Homework's
album.
really good.
Homework was the first one where I properly got into Daft Punk
Yeah.
as well. And
I think
feel
that's
like-
where most people got into Daft Punk. Like
Yeah,
either
yeah.
Homework or Discovery.
Well, I think it was like I think the first big hit was Around the World, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. That was like what put them on the map.
Was
I
it?
feel.
Which
Yeah.
is the most
That's
repetitive
from-
song in
Is
existence.
it AM, FM? Is that the album?
What, Daft Punk?
Yeah, what's the album name? You have to fact check me on a lot of this.
We're gonna need a lot of fact checking.
Yeah, we're
here.
gonna- Everyone behind the camera,
we
fact
look-
check time,
We
all
have a
right?
fun fact.
We need like 7 fact checkers right now.
Muse collaborated with Daft Punk on their 2017 single 09.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, there you go.
I bet, like,
That's probably where the...
That's probably why, because a lot of these artists that I find that I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
It's like YouTube recommends me.
Yeah.
You know who I'm surprised is not on your 3x3?
Who?
Joji.
Joji? I don't listen to Joji that much.
Every time I go to your house, you're playing Joji.
That is true. That is true.
I've played a lot of but I think I had phases of Joji. Like, I like
Right.
Joji a lot. You know, like, I like Joji a lot, but
That just sounds like a band. Faces
Yeah.
of Joji.
I love Joji's music, but there's only like 4 songs that I actually listen to. The
Right,
rest of the album
right.
I don't really like. I think, at least for the first 5, I've listened to like everything from Tame Impala, Weeknd, Daft Punk, Breakbot,
Yeah.
Parcels. I've listened to like everything. And like, so the Parcels, Daft Punk, and Breakbot, I can just put on their albums.
yeah.
Any song and I'll have a good time. And I'm like, this is great. Like if I'm in a car, those are the 3 I'm playing.
So this is all like recent taste then, or is as
Within the past 5 years.
Within the
Unfortunately, my tastes haven't really changed much in the past 6 years. It's kind of like I have phases where I go into something else, but it always comes back to that type of music.
What did you listen to when you were a kid?
Yeah.
This is a good question. Well, right in the bottom right is Biffy Clyro. Do you have Biffy Clyro?
No
I have
idea.
no idea who Biffy
I
Clyro
don't know,
is.
but that album cover is cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so Biffy Clyro is a Scottish rock band.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've done a
Biffy
they've-
Clyro.
they've
That
su-
sounds Scottish as
They've
fuck.
supported for Foo Fighters a few times.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
Okay.
if you like Foo Fighters
Yeah.
and you want a more Scottish version of Foo Fighters,
Oh.
I might be butchering and doing an absolute disservice to Biffy Clyro, but I liked Foo Fighters a lot, and the way I found them is that a
Yeah.
lot of my friends in school really liked Foo Fighters, and when we were growing up, that's the kind
Yeah.
of stuff they like. And then I got into Biffy Clyro from that, and I went to watch them live. That was the first concert I ever went to.
A Biffy Clyro concert?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh,
I
fuck
loved
yeah.
it so much. And I don't know. I would say this is a good album to listen to. They had the really famous one that came out before this. I can't remember the name of it. It's got like 2 big colours on the front of it. I've got the name of it.
Do they sing in like a Scottish accent as well?
Yeah, so that's what I love about them. Is
Oh,
that
hell
like
yeah.
Right.
you know how sometimes a lot of bands where they're like from Scotland, but they just sound American somehow.
Yeah.
But it's like actually like, like that. Sorry.
The album you're looking for is Only Revolution.
That's it. Only Evolution.
Daft Punk's first album was Homework.
Yeah, Homework was the
Homework?
first
Oh shit! I
album.
thought AM came before it. My bad.
Oh, okay.
I'm fake
So
Daft
it
Punk.
was that first album.
Random Access Memory, I think you're thinking about REM.
No.
No. Random Access
That's
Memory was
probably like an EP or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been. Yeah. Oh, my bad then. Yeah, I must have made.
That's what I want more bands to do though, because
What?
like the one thing I like sing in the accent of the country that they're from.
You should.
Yeah.
I think you'd
Right.
quite like Biffy Clyro.
Because that's what I
Seems
love
kinda up
about
your
like
alley.
that's what I love about like Proclaimers, right? Because
Yeah.
like when they
Yeah.
sing the 500 Mile song, they couldn't sound any more fucking Scottish than that song, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I find it so weird when I like hear an artist, right, and you hear them sing, right, and then you hear them speak, and there is like such a dissonance between how they sing and how they speak. I remember when the first time I heard Adele speak. Right, and it's like the most northern accent.
You're British.
my
Why
name- my name
are you
Adele.
surprised? You're British.
because like she doesn't sound like anything like that when she sings. You
Well,
know?
probably for good reason. Could you imagine an Adele song in the accent that she speaks in?
Like, there's no way she would have blown up because no one would have been able to understand what she was saying.
through the rain,
but like,
Poor Adele getting dragged through the
rolling
mud.
in the deep, rolling in the deep. I am. Like that, she wouldn't have popped off. I'm sorry.
No, but because I had no idea she was British until I heard her speak, and then I was like, oh, this is the most northern person I've ever heard speak in my life. And
I feel a lot of Australian artists are like that too. Like Sia, for example, is like the most Australian sounding person in interviews. But when she sings, everyone thinks she's American.
Damn.
We like lose our accents for some reason. I don't know why.
yeah, like we can't like I find it hard to, I guess, do an accent, but it's not hard. For some reason, it's less hard to sing an accent. I don't know. It's weird, right?
I find it easier to sing in an American accent than I do speak in an American accent.
I don't understand at all how it works. I know how accents work. I don't know how it works when you sing though. It's like a different register.
I think that's why when I hear an accent in a song, it immediately like just sticks out to me, I guess, because you always hear like the neutral American accent with like a lot of songs. So when you hear an accent that is just anything that's not like the stereotypical neutral American accent, it immediately just sticks out in my mind.
Yeah. That's what I want more artists to do though, because like otherwise, like everyone's just gonna sound the fucking same, right? And it's like if there's the best way to make you as an artist stand out, is to just sound different, like just sing in a different accent. Because then immediately you'll be like, you'll listen to a Biffy Clyro song, and you'll be like, oh, they sound Scottish, must be a Biffy Clyro song.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very Scottish when you hear them. Right. It's fun.
Could you imagine if Biffy Clyro, obviously I don't know Biffy Clyro, right? But you said they kind of sound similar to Foo Fighters?
Well, I'd say it's kind of in the same vein. It's like kind of feeling of the way they sing
So
the
would
song.
you say that if perchance the Biffy Clyro lead singer
it
sang in an
wouldn't sound the
accent
same.
like Dave Grohl, then it would sound like Foo Fighters, or no?
No, I don't know. It's weird because the songs are so Scottish. If you listen to them, you'll I think you might like them. They kind of seem like your kind of band, actually.
Yeah.
You love Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah, I love Foo Fighters.
Then I think you'll probably like them.
I like Foo Fighters as well.
Then you'll probably like them as well.
Yeah.
If you like Scottish kind of take on it. Again, I must be offending like big, massive fans.
Massive Biffy Clyro fans are like shaking their
But
fists.
like that's the only way that I know, because I don't understand how to talk about music like a normal human being.
Yeah.
So this is the only way I can imagine explaining it. But also it was like the first album like I ever bought out of like physical. I think I only ever bought like 3 albums in my life.
Right.
And I think this was the first one.
Oh.
Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever bought an album.
I love this so much. I remember I loaded it onto my PC. I know I put it on my Xbox.
Yeah.
And you could play the albums on Xbox while playing another game. I would open up that fucking menu, that fucking big one. And I would press play, and the volume was just dreadfully like not managed correctly. So I was playing Modern Warfare 2 and just, don't know what you're feeling, man. Like that. And I was like, it was great. It was awesome.
No, I had a CD player, like the fucking like chunky.
No, I had one of those too.
CD
Yeah.
You know what's the first album I bought on CD?
What?
Fucking Simple Plan.
Classic J.
That album slaps. I don't care what anyone says.
Man, but yeah, I have Tame Impala as well. I love Tame Impala. My favorite album is the Slow Rush, not the other one that everyone that you see everywhere and everyone talks about.
Currents?
Yeah, that's the one that everyone.
Slow Rush is a good album.
I love Slow Rush.
Yeah.
Breathe Deeper is like my favorite song from Tame Impala.
Good
I love
song.
that fucking song.
Good song.
I don't know, driving to Tame Impala is like another level of enjoying it. I don't know why.
Have you listened to his side project Pond?
No.
If you like Tame Impala, you'll like that. It's
I
just,
probably pretty will.
it's just Tame Impala but harder.
Will you recommend it to me? I'll find out.
Probably not.
Basically, that's how my music is decided.
Yeah.
Have the algorithm gods decided it's fit for me? If so, yes, I'll listen. But unfortunately, sometimes it recommends me artists. There's like one song I really like, and I check out the other stuff, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, there's lots of artists like
That
that.
happens like that.
Who is the one on the left there, above Bo Burnham?
Oh, this is you know them. Snail's House.
Oh, Snail. Okay,
Oh,
that's
is that
Snail
Snail's House?
Yeah, I love
Okay.
Snail's
You go,
House.
okay.
Snail House is good.
Again,
yeah.
no lyrics. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't recognize the art.
Yeah, I love Snail's House. It's probably like if I can encapsulate all my I guess I don't even. Is it a disservice to call it weeby music? It's kind of like
it's
weeby, nostalgic, gaming.
It's a subculture of like weeby.
He's half Japanese, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like weeby nerdy shit.
I like how
weeby nerdy
I like
shit.
how this one makes me feel. I like this one. This
Yeah.
one's good. There was a phase. There was a phase in my life where I feel like I listened.
How does it make you feel?
Happy. I want to say happy.
Happy.
That's the emotion, right?
Yeah.
So there was like before I moved to Japan. I want to say I listened to this for like. God, like a whole year straight.
Were you prepping your Japan visit with some
Weird.
music?
Before I even decided to move to Japan, I was listening to them, and then weirdly, it was like, I just loved this album a lot. Not this album, sorry. I love all of his songs.
Yeah.
Absolute all bangers, all kind of different moods, even though like it's the same style.
Yeah.
I like how it doesn't always feel the same. There's a bunch of variations. Shout out to Snail's House, banging. If you like anime music or anything like that, or like electronic, you'll probably like this. It's really good.
Yeah, I call this genre weebcore.
Weebcore.
Yeah.
It's
like weebcore.
It's weeb Daft Punk?
Yeah.
Question mark?
I don't know.
There's no lyrics.
That's
it's
such a
just
good name
like,
for it.
Yeah.
It is weebcore.
It's weebcore.
It feels like a roller coaster you're on. That you're not on it. You're not on it, but you're on a roller coaster. I don't know how to describe it. How the fuck do I describe music? How do you do this? How does Anthony Fantano do this? What the fuck is he doing?
Just say a lot of adjectives.
Words.
This is like how I describe this music. It's like if you go to an artist alley in any convention and take that experience, put that in the genre of music. That is like that's weebcore basically, right?
Pretty much.
It's not anime.
You know that feeling before you go to a convention. Obviously not now because you're miserable adults, but
Yeah.
you know a few years earlier when you're like kind of excited, you're like bubbly, you're like, oh my god, this is so exciting. That's the feeling. Like fucking shoved it into a jar that I can just like anytime I want. I can just take
Snail's House to me is like what it must sound like to live in the Kirby universe.
Yes,
That's what it sounds like to me. It's
just
like
fucking your enemies come up.
Yeah, everything is like everything is like
Done.
It's a good suck on everything.
Done.
It's like
Over
everything is like round and like bubbly and pastel colored and like overly happy, but in a good way.
I could fall over. But the floor's made of marshmallows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. I don't know how to. That's like in a good way, not in like a
No,
kid's way.
not in like a condescending way.
I
But
don't know
like,
how to describe it.
yeah, it's just like it's pillowy.
Yeah, dude, it's great.
Yeah.
It's such
Yeah.
a.
It's
If
great.
you wanna be feel happy and have a good time, and you wanna feel vibes, try Snail's House. And you don't want lyrics because I honestly sometimes lyrics just get in the way. Sometimes lyrics get in the way.
Nah, I disagree.
Sometimes.
As
Sometimes.
someone who doesn't even listen to lyrics, I feel something missing without vocal track.
Well,
there.
we could talk about that.
We can talk.
I have
talk
other
about
picks that
that.
we can talk about that way.
All right.
The other one I want to talk about, I love The Weeknd, and this is a weird one because I, for very long time, just kind of felt indifferent towards The Weeknd. I felt like it was that artist that just always got like number ones, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it was kind of like, oh, all right, whatever. But then like the last album came out and I was like, okay, no, this is all fire. This is all like really fucking good. Okay, I think he's actually like insane.
Yeah.
And then I went back and listened to the other stuff. I appreciated it way more now. After seeing how far he's grown and how much his albums have like just improved.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I was definitely the same. I was like, oh, this is just like another
The generic pop guy.
Yeah,
Another Bruno Mars-esque
yeah,
figure.
Exactly. And because like when I listened to House of Balloons, which is his first album, I was like, this is like it's good, but it's like nothing special. And then After Hours came out with like Blinding Lights, and like that album, I was like, okay, I see it. I see it. And then the new album was like, all right, solidified, you're pretty good.
Dude, this album, it's been like out for like, I don't know, like 2 months at this point, and I've literally just listened to that album nonstop. It's so good.
I think The
It's
Weeknd
so
actually
good.
is right now the most streamed artist on Spotify.
It wouldn't surprise
He's like
me.
number one right now.
Like this album has so many bangers that like it's so fun talking about this album to people because everyone I've spoke to has a different favorite song.
Yeah.
It's not like other albums where it's like, okay, everyone likes X song the most and it's very predictable. But it's like everyone is just telling me other songs they like the most.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that one is a banger
That's
too.
the best kind of artist though, right? Where it's like it's like you can't pick like a top like I would think it's really difficult for someone like The Weeknd to make like a greatest hits album.
Yeah,
Because
true.
it's like which songs do we not put in that album, right?
True.
It's because every song's great.
Also, I love that like I wasn't paying attention to lyrics, but then I started actually paying attention to the lyrics of this current album. I'm like, shit, man, this is really fucking sad.
Yeah.
like, what's going on with this, man? He's like, yeah, I've got to see a woman and she's fucking another man. And then he's just like, I'm so sad that she's fucking another man. And it's like, what? He's like, I loved her, and then she stepped on my heart, and I'm like, whoa.
While an 80s like funk bass like plays in the background.
I'm like, yo, but it's so good though. It's so good. It's so good.
Oh my god, I feel that.
It's like I want to marry her, but we're best friends now. And it's like, oh no, what's going on? This is so sad. It was so fun. I loved it.
How often do you listen to like Muse lyrics in songs?
Never. Literally
So what made you listen to the lyrics in this song?
Because I'd listened to it so many times that after a point I started like just he would say stuff and I was like, hold up. Like the rock.
Run back.
Rewind that.
I was like, hold up, what? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, oh my God.
And
we're his therapists, you know, we're just hearing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bo Burnham, Bo Burnham was one of those things where you kind of have to listen to the lyrics to enjoy the music. And it really made me see that, like, okay, because to me, comedy music before was like just fucking Lonely Island.
Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like parody music, right?
Yeah.
Where they would kind of, for me, they would take a song or like an established like genre of music and just kind of like parody that on like a surface level, if that makes sense.
And Tim Minchin is obviously everyone always
Love
loved.
Tim Minchin.
But like even that music I wasn't like super into. But I don't know. When I listen to, I've watched Bo Burnham specials, like all of them, like at least 4+ times now, and I just love it to death. And I really like the songs. They're really funny, but also really good. Some of them are like absolute bangers.
Yeah.
I love the one at the end of Make Happy. I've got the one where it is, but it's when he's talking about burritos and putting the hand in the Pringle can. I can't remember what it's. That sounds so fucking dumb.
That sounds like something you'd relate to.
But it's so good though, because it's like it starts off as a joke and then it turns into this whole, the struggle of being a creator and what people expect things from you and how do you struggle with that. And, and as somebody who creates stuff, it was like, oh shit, whoa, this is fucking, whoa, this is weird.
Did you ever like get into Lonely Island though back in the day?
I loved Lonely Island.
Yeah,
when I was like 14, I thought this shit was like peak comedy and music. I was like, oh my God, he threw it on the ground. Oh my dude, that song is
Oh my
so
God,
good.
he put a dick in a box? Like, what the fuck?
I'm like, this song, it's talking about
Just
threesomes.
Yeah. Damn, man.
This song's about threesomes. Because I was a kid and I thought this shit was hilarious. Like, I just had sex. I thought that was like the peak comedy.
No, for me it was like, I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
And he just had T-Pain in there for no fucking reason. And
It was that and Like a Boss.
Like a boss.
Was
I
like
remember
my
when
favorite.
those were like the most viewed fucking videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they were like, I remember because I have this weird memory of me playing Black Ops 1 and just playing Lonely Island songs on repeat while I'm playing. And I literally did nothing but listen to the Lonely
I think
Island.
everyone was like that in the early stages of YouTube though.
But to me, it was like Bo Burnham is like, it kind of took the best of like comedy and then added it with like amazing, funny stand-up with amazing lyrics and great. And I love the song. It's like 1 minute long. It's the fucking Jeff Bezos song from Inside. I fucking love that one. You got to listen to it.
Because
I've
I've only seen Inside, but like obviously it's one of the few artists where I did listen to the songs because it is like I guess I don't know how you'd categorize or put like how you categorize these kind of songs, but it's like comedy songs, but it also like his songs also make you think. And like the message kind of like sticks with you for a while.
It's funny and deep.
I don't know.
The best of both worlds.
Is it too deep for you? I don't know, but it's the Evangelion of comedy music.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm kidding. I
wanted to put it on because I wanted to talk about it, and I thought that it was really interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
And there's a lot of artists I could have put on. Like I could have put. I love Pendulum.
Pendulum's fantastic.
I went to see Pendulum.
I almost put Pendulum.
I went to watch Pendulum live, and it was probably like the greatest
so jealous of
fucking
you.
experience ever. I nearly died like 4 times being stepped on to death, but it was amazing.
That must have been like audio crack, man.
Dude, it was insane. So I went to go and watch Pendulum. It was in like a warehouse, like this concrete warehouse.
Yeah.
And it was just like some kind of like satanic ritual, it looked like. Because there was just, this thing was so tall.
Yeah.
So you just see this massive like hunk of concrete and then just a pendulum just going hard on stage.
Yeah.
Holy shit. When I remember when Tarantula came on, that was insane. Dude.
Holy
Everyone
fuck,
went insane. It was just like, I've never been in such a like, just intense atmosphere. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I don't normally like going to concerts, but that one was really fun because I knew the lyrics as well somehow. Because I burned them into my memory. Because I listened to
Are there that many lyrics to Pendulum songs?
yeah,
I can't remember.
some songs.
I mean,
Watercolor. It was very easy.
Everyone remembers the opening to Witchcraft.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's the one
yeah.
song everyone would just start singing.
But like,
Tarantula.
I've been listening to the Pendulum since I was like fucking 12, and I would listen to them on and off.
They were pretty inescapable back when. Like,
Yeah.
Blood Sugar.
Yeah.
I remember the
Propane
remix.
Nightmares as well.
The remix of like no, Blood Sugar was Prodigy. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it was like
really good.
Pendulum and Prodigy, where
Prodigy,
they were just
that's
like
it,
fucking massive.
Yeah.
And like they were inescapable at a point
Yeah.
where, like, I remember like they came out as like in the age where I just started going clubbing, and like you'd hear a Pendulum song and a Prodigy song at least once in every fucking
Pendulum's
club
so
you go
good,
to,
man.
man.
So good. But I'd say like Pendulum was definitely like my early inspiration before I found like I started really getting into like Daft Punk.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, Interstellar is amazing, and
Yeah.
all the music videos just go so goddamn well with the songs. And I've just
Not the movie, the album.
Yeah, sorry.
Not the soundtrack to the movie.
But it's amazing.
And then
So
you
good.
got Andy.
Yeah, so this is just like city pop. This is the I Can't Stop Loneliness song. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
I fucking love
Yeah.
that song. I can't stop the loneliness. I don't know why I love
Oh,
that.
man, we're going to get copyright claims. You're too good.
That's why I'm singing it bad. I'm singing it bad on purpose.
too
right?
good.
Yeah. But I love city pop. Obviously, I don't know how to encapsulate all of city pop. I could just put Plastic Love and call it a day. But
Yeah.
you know, I feel like city pop has definitely blown up in the past 4 or 5 years. It's gone crazy. Even the Weeknd on his new album samples a lot of city pop.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so goddamn good. It's like city pop with like the vocals for God. It's just amazing. It's so good. And I mean, I absolutely adore city pop. It makes me nostalgic for that time that I lived in Japan in the 80s and stared out the window.
Yeah, definitely.
And was in the bubble period.
It's a good time.
A good time.
Was it literally Plastic Love that literally like kind of reinvigorated this city pop trend that's like
I
happening
think so,
right now?
because you would
Yeah.
hear city
Yeah.
pop occasionally, but I
Yeah.
don't think the movement hadn't really taken off. I think Plastic Love is what really got people into thinking
Yeah.
about listening to other songs.
There's like-
Because I definitely heard city pop songs before this,
Right.
but never enough to make me be like, is this a genre?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what this is.
It was also just like such a mystery as to why it was that song that blew
Yeah.
up. Like I've seen like documentaries on YouTube about like why did Plastic Love blow up and shit, and it's like and I'm just like because it's a good song.
Yeah, I mean, like
Nothing more.
Also, like the YouTube algorithm just works in fucking mysterious ways
Yeah,
sometimes,
exactly.
man.
yeah, I mean, there's 2 ways I get recommended songs. It's memes or YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Honestly, memes is like a really underrated way to discover new music because a
Bro,
lot of
Breakball
memes,
is so good.
a lot of meme songs are actually like good songs.
Yeah.
that you forget that they're good songs
That's-
because
yeah.
you've just heard it bass boosted so many times.
Maybe I'm Yours is unironically like a fucking amazing song, and it's so fucking stupid that I
Yeah.
can't listen to this song without thinking of, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And followed by, dun, 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 dun. It's awful. Ruined my life.
No, because I remember when I first heard that song, it got recommended to me on YouTube, and I was just like, "Oh, it's the meme song," and I was waiting for like the bass boost to come in, and then it was just the song, and I remember thinking, "Damn, why did they bass boost this fucking masterpiece, man?" It's like taking the Mona Lisa and like fucking spitting on it, you know?
I
Like-
unironically like Crab Dance song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And the Shooting Stars song, you remember that one?
Oh, that was a good song.
Dun,
That's it.
dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah,
dun.
yeah,
Yeah, you know that one.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one was like good. Actually,
Yeah, that's a great song. They're great songs.
All right, well, that's my 3x3. Go and check some of them out. You might like it. If you like Daft Punk, you'll probably like a lot of these.
I want to listen to Parcels.
Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah.
I love Parcels, man. Some of their songs are so fucking good. This episode is sponsored by Premium Bandai USA. Premium Bandai USA is one of Bandai's official online stores that offers an extensive, ever-changing lineup of high-quality and limited-run products pulled right out of your favorite anime series. Right now, as a part of their special campaign, they are offering free shipping on all Digimon-themed items until March 9th EST. Today, Premium Bandai has sent us a collection of their newest Digimon items to show off to you.
First of all, Garnt is wearing right now a wearable Digivice, also known as the Vital Bracelet Digital Monster Digivice V from the currently airing Digimon Ghost game anime. Not only does it monitor your heart rate and count your steps, but it also levels up your Digimon accordingly, allow you to battle other people's Digimons. It's like having a Digimon on the go.
That's such a cool concept.
That is
Honestly,
actually
like
pretty
like having a fitness bracelet that also levels up your Digimon as you work out. Dude, Weebs are finally going to be
Double
working
grinding.
out.
Double grinding.
They've also sent us a set of card sleeves with matching playmats to give you an idea of what 2 of their new Digimon card game items currently up for pre-order look like IRL.
Wow.
Check out each of their designs on screen right now.
I love Digimon. Gotta say, it's a nice sized playmat.
It
Enough
is.
for plenty of playing.
It is.
Go check out all the items displayed on our table today and much more on Premium Bandai USA during their free shipping campaign by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks again to Premium Bandai USA for sponsoring us today. Back to the episode.
All right, well, that's my initial trash taste in music. Thank God that's out of the way.
Before we move on, obviously you talked about a lot of your music that you're into now, but like, I'm curious what you listened to as a kid. Like, do you remember, or did you just not put any of them on?
What age?
Like as early as you can remember.
Yeah, Foo Fighters. That was a big one. Biffy Clyro, Pendulum, Prodigy. Then I had that weird phase where I was like, yeah, Calvin Harris is really good.
I was actually like this close to putting Calvin Harris on.
He did end racism. He did end racism.
Yeah,
so.
he did. But like, I would be lying if I like didn't go through a phase where I listened to a fuck ton of Calvin Harris.
Listen, I'm not immune to shit taste, right? There was a point where I listened to a lot of Calvin Harris.
Did you listen to a lot of David Guetta as well?
Oh God, yeah, I did. You know when you listen to that
Swedish House Mafia,
the Aeroplanes in the Night Sky song?
Yeah.
And you're like, how about I just want all music that sounds exactly like this.
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas, you know.
Black Eyed Peas.
When I had like no fucking personality of my own, I would just listen to what the charts told me was good.
The Billboard,
music.
the Billboard top
It's
100.
top 20. I want to fit in. I want to seem normal. I'm gonna say I like this song. I love that new Calvin Harris song. You know, I felt like I almost listened to that music just so I could keep up with what people were talking about. Because I didn't want to get bullied for liking like fucking Scottish bands that no one talked about.
What the fuck's wrong with that?
Well, you know, it's back
Oh, yeah.
when
Like
there was a lot of social pressure.
Yeah, like me listening to Calvin Harris was the equivalent of me watching football matches. So like I could have something to talk about. He's like, oh yeah, you see,
that's true.
Yeah, you see the latest football match. Oh yeah, the new Calvin Harris song came out. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
But like, I feel like I never really had a defined music taste because I was kind of, you know, as well back then I had to find a means to get a hold of it.
Yeah.
And that often was a big limiting factor in what I could discover.
I did the opposite. I was like, oh, I listened to that recent Calvin Harris song. Bit shit in it.
I've never had.
Shit.
Well, you have good taste,
Shit
Joe.
taste in music.
You have good taste as
When
well.
I didn't even like think that, I was like, I didn't even listen to it. Sorry, I'm just giving you a hard time.
All right, well, should we get on with the next pick?
All right.
Do you want to pick it or shall I pick it?
You can
again?
go for it, man. Me or Garnt. It doesn't really matter.
It matters to me.
It's not gonna matter.
I see a T.
It's me.
There you go. You're saved, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Thank God Joey can carry the podcast
Oh,
after
no.
I finish talking
My
about.
pressure.
Okay, so how I tried to pick this, I tried to pick music and artists and songs that really defines every stage of my life. So this might be a little bit random.
Are we going to see Peppa Pig the full album? What do you mean, diaper music? Like Itsy Bitsy Spider?
So
Bob the Builder soundtrack.
It was a cold summer night at the age of 3. I decided to put on a soundtrack.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, fucking banger. What
Thomas
can I
the
say?
Tank
What can I fucking say?
has an absolute banger soundtrack. There's no lie.
Bob the Builder, that opening was like
Dude, Bob the Builder still slaps.
Postman Pat.
Postman Pat, I fucking love that song, dude.
all right, Ashley, put it up, Ashley. Put it up. Go on.
This motherfucker will not leave my recommendation.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I'll go through it from left to right. Sorry,
I know all of these.
You know all of these?
I
I
do.
don't know the one. I don't know this one.
You don't know that one? Well, that's one of the 2 Japanese ones on there, Joe. I know 3 Japanese ones. So,
Yikes.
top left is Muse.
Yeah.
Really? You couldn't
Yeah. We got Muse. We got Muse, and then we have Bradio. And then we have the Kooks, or is it? No, it's just Kooks, right?
Kooks, yeah.
We have the Killers. We have Michael Jackson.
MJ.
We have MJ. Come on. We have Zutamayo. We have Daft Punk, Arctic Monkeys, and obviously the Fulikuli soundtrack.
I don't know why I thought that was Ben Stiller for a hot second. I was like,
Oh, Ben Stiller's does not look that bad.
I was like, damn, Ben Stiller. God, man. All right.
So where do you want to start off?
Kooks? You like them that much?
Okay. So The reason I put the Kooks there, right? Or Kooks. Is it the Kooks or is it just Kooks?
It doesn't matter.
I'm obviously a bad fan.
The Kooks.
Is it the Kooks?
I thought
Okay,
it was the
that's
Kooks,
what I thought. And this is specifically Inside In, the Inside Out, the album, because it's one of the few albums I actually have listened to all of the way. And the reason I put the Kooks in there is because they are originally a band from Brighton, right? And
Got to represent that home
no,
country.
exactly. But I did not know this. I did not know this for the longest time, right? But listening to their music and listening to this album especially, before I found out they were from Brighton, I was just like, fuck, this literally epitomizes the Brighton vibe and like what it is like being a teenager growing up in Brighton, right? It literally like epitomizes the vibe of like going to like this random fucking beach party or just going to a random house party in England sometimes.
That privileged lifestyle.
It's trying to pick up chicks or just heavily binge drinking or whatever.
Right.
Like if I had to pick a show, for example, a TV show that epitomized British teenage life, it is The Inbetweeners, right? If you've seen The Inbetweeners, I've not seen a more accurate representation of what it is to be like growing up at around like college age, which college age is kind of like high school age, right? And to me, The Kooks is, if you listen to this album, it is growing up in Brighton, college age, so about 16 to 18 years old. And that's why it's on there.
I feel like I only know one song.
I think there are like two big songs on there. There's like Naive and like...
Yeah, Naive. So naive! It's really like...
Perfect accent.
It's like really like drawn out.
Yeah.
Like every word, I think.
And I think it's like She Moves in Her Own Way. That's the other...
I know that song.
Yeah.
That one is like burned into my head.
It is, because
I hear
like
that all the time in the UK.
That was the song that like introduced me to the Kooks. But like I feel like those are like the two most, like Naive and She Moves in Her Own Way are like the two most poppy songs in their album, because definitely their later albums they got way on the poppy side of things. Like they were kind of like Maroon 5 in that sense. Like you compare like early Maroon 5 albums to like the later Maroon 5 albums, and it's just like, okay, this is
like night and day.
Yeah, this is night and day. This is like, okay, there was a point where I like Maroon 5, and then there's just like Billboard 100 Maroon 5.
You don't like
She Moves Like Jagger Maroon.
You don't like
right?
You don't like Sugar?
No.
You don't like Sugar? It's a great song.
No.
I love Sugar.
But I will stick up for like early Maroon 5. I think early Maroon 5 was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know what else to say about the Kooks. That's why the Kooks is on there. If you want to have
It's a good band, eh?
Yeah, it's a good band. It's a good indie band. Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot of bands I wanted to put on were, of course, indie bands, especially a lot of indie bands from England, I guess, because I did go through, I think the period of my life where I listened to the most music is probably in like between high school and university, where I listened to a lot of fucking indie bands.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was because I was actually in a band myself. I don't know if I've...
Were you?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever talked about this.
No, you've never talked
We've
about
never
it.
talked about
Have I never mentioned this to you guys?
It. Wait, what did you even play?
What did you play?
I play guitar.
Are you serious?
I didn't know
I'm
this.
serious.
Can
I'm
you still
serious.
play guitar?
Why have we not started a band?
I don't know.
Do you know how long I've been waiting?
me on vocals.
Yeah.
Joey on...
Connor on vocals, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Garnt on guitar, and I'll just like fill in
Whatever,
the rest.
yeah.
Like,
Joey's the prince. He can do everything else.
And yeah, have I never mentioned this before?
Never,
I must
never
have.
mentioned this.
You've mentioned that you used to play guitar like a little bit.
This feels like something you should mention more.
Yeah.
This feels like a personality trait.
I feel betrayed that you haven't mentioned this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, okay, so I guess I gotta get into this story then. Okay. Let's start right at the beginning.
Next,
okay?
you're gonna say that you were a member of the Kooks.
Well,
yeah, I just play them.
I'm saying the guy was a platinum selling artist.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the reason I wanted to learn how to play guitar in the first place is my first choice on that. It's Muse.
Oh, I love Muse. Good
I
choice.
remember
I love
the
Muse.
first time hearing Plug-in Baby and just hearing that riff, and like just
Godlike.
something just clicked in my mind, and I was just like, I need to be able to play this, and I need to be able to play this. And like I remember before, like my my mum had always tried to get me to learn guitar because she's just like, people who play guitar are cool. My mum thinks it's cool. And I'm just like, she set me for like guitar lessons as a kid. And I never really took them seriously, right? I was just like, I'm doing this because my mum wants me to do it, right? I can play fucking Oasis Wonderwall, whatever the fuck,
Which I would argue is the only song you need to know.
Yeah, the only song you need to know. Okay, I was just like, whatever. And we only owned an acoustic guitar at the time.
Yeah.
And then I went, I remember I went into secondary school, which is like just before high school age in the UK. Or is it high school age? I don't know. Secondary school.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time hearing Plug-in Baby. And I was just like, why did they never teach us how to play this in fucking guitar lessons? What the fuck? I know how to play a barcode, sorry. Yeah. I'd like what do I need to do to learn how to play this? And so the first thing I did was I
ditch your acoustic.
Yeah, I ditched my acoustic. I signed up for guitar lessons in my secondary school, and I was like, Mother, I would like an electric guitar now.
Did she get you one?
Huh?
Did she get you one?
I remember we got like a fucking cheap ass electric guitar
Amazon
from like
Basics.
No, not even Amazon Basics. I got one that was like on like a car boot sale or something
Fair
like
enough.
that. which was what?
That would do the trick.
Yeah, that did the trick. So so I can't even remember what my first guitar was. It was a shit guitar. It was one where I had to like replace all of the fucking strings on the guitar because all of the strings were like rusted already.
Oh my god!
Didn't like at that point I didn't even know how to like properly tune or like change the strings of a guitar. So like my teacher at the time had to teach me how to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean that's when I first properly got into learning how to play the guitar. And at that point, as the point where I was building up my skill level to, be able to play Plug-in Baby, which eventually I did.
Hell
and then actually, now that I think about it, once I learned how to play Plug-in Baby, my drive to like improve my skill level just kind of stopped. So
I've reached peak guitar.
I'm like,
There's never a need to play it again.
When you reach the goal you set for yourself, and I just never found a next goal to set for myself. So like for me, it was just like play guitar to play Plug-in Baby. I can do it now, Mother. I can stop playing the guitar now.
Oh my god!
Dispose of this.
I always wanted to play Guitar Hero more than I wanted to play guitar.
So then in that time, one of my friends, he wanted to start a band, and I was like, why not? I've got nothing better to do at this time. I can play the guitar. Might as well use it for
first day lessons. Do you know Plug-in Baby?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
We can play that.
Yeah. And so I mean, I joined because I wasn't really doing anything with the guitar aside from trying to learn how to play Plug-in Baby. So I'm just like, man, maybe I'll just join the guitar. Maybe I'll just join a band for fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think we were the greatest band, but
Did you ever play?
Yeah. We played like a bunch of gigs. Actually, I got like
what?
Yeah. I think the biggest crowd we played in was a crowd of like 500 to 1,000 people.
What?
Okay.
What?
Oh my god.
How have you never told this story?
Okay, so I remember when we were trying to think of the band name. I think we have like a fucking stupid band name. Okay.
They're always stupid.
Okay,
Trust me.
our band name. We tried to like brainstorm a bunch of fucking band names, and like nothing just seemed to click because everything sounded either like too metal or too campy or whatever.
Right.
And then we just went with the name 9.5 Pounds because the month before my mate, one of the lead singer, went on a diet and he lost 9.5 pounds. And that was like, we were just like, you know what? We don't know what we're going to call our band. Let's just use this as just the name until we think of the actual name for the band. And then that was just like,
that's amazing.
As with a lot of names, you
it just sticks, right?
You pick a filler name and you're just like, can't be asked to change it now, innit?
So you would just like play any song? What kind of songs did you play?
So I mean,
Muse.
Just Muse?
No, I mean we wrote our own songs.
Oh.
So we'd go. So my mate had we went to the drummer's house because our drummer.
You always gather at the drummer's
You
house.
always gather at the drummer's house because you can bring your fucking guitar, you can bring your, you can bring your bass or whatever to someone's house. You can't transport a drum kit everywhere. You know what I mean? So at first we went to the drummer's house to practice and write songs, and eventually we had like this really like this really like fucking old music studio that a friend of a friend of a friend's dad owned, you know that kind of thing.
That's
And you walk in, it's like a back alley, and like the fucking door hinge is like been like broken in like 10 million times or something, and you're like, I might get stabbed here, but they have a drum kit and a recording studio here.
Right.
So whatever,
So cool.
That's amazing.
And I remember the biggest gig we played was like we signed up to what was the equivalent of like a Battle of the Bands kind of deal.
Bro,
right?
you had an anime arc.
Yeah.
So like
this is just Beck.
no. Part of the reason why I got so into Beck and why Beck was one of my
Why
my
the fuck
favorite.
didn't you say this when you were talking about Beck?
Yeah.
I think I did mention it.
you
I
didn't.
must have mentioned
No.
it.
You didn't know. I would remember if you were like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, I was in a Battle of the Bands and performed for
I think I
1,000
would
people.
remember the name 9.5 pounds.
Okay. Okay, so we were just a band for fun. We weren't taking this seriously.
Yeah, of course.
But like we met like a lot of bands who were like fucking amazing that came out of our school. Because like I guess part of the other reason why we formed a band was because the school I went to was a performing arts school. So a lot of people there were doing performing arts, whether it was theater or music or something. So there were like some people in my school, like my classmates, who were taking like music really, really seriously.
Right.
We were just like, whatever, I'm learning guitar. I'll just play in the band because whatever, that seems like a cool way to spend my time. And so I remember for this Battle of the Bands, we literally had to like audition to get into this Battle of the Bands, right? And it was like it was a pretty big deal at the time because this gig was pretty famous for like a lot of students, and there was sometimes there would even be people from music labels who would attend like events like
That's
this.
cool.
Yeah.
So we weren't expecting anything to come out of this. We were just like, you know what? They're holding auditions at our school, and we could sign up. So we're just like, what have we got to lose? We didn't
Yeah,
really,
why not?
we didn't really expect anything because we didn't really think that we were that good of bands.
Right.
So we obviously auditioned, and it was literally like the fucking X Factor kind of deal, right? Because
The big golden buzzer in the middle.
yeah, because literally because our school was a performing arts, so we had like a theater set up, right? And the theater, we had like a drum kit in the middle, and there were judges on there.
Oh wow.
And we had to play 2 songs, right?
Yeah.
We had to play 2 songs in front of the judges, and I remember.
That's where Garnt plays Plug-in Baby. And the crowd goes wild. Sorry.
And now for our second song, Plug In Baby. One more time, baby.
This is where the montage starts. Everyone
Yeah.
gets up on there. Okay, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and then I remember we were hearing some of the other bands that were playing before us,
Yeah.
and we were just like, "Fuck my life, we got to follow these guys. We got to fucking follow these guys. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And so I remember thinking we're not going to get on because there were a lot of other bands that were fucking better than us. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
But so we went on. We just played our songs. You know, the judges, you know, waved us off. Whatever. We didn't expect much, and so we didn't get into the Battle of the Bands. We actually became like a backup choice, just in case, you know.
Okay.
And so we went on with our lives, and then we get a call like a week before the event, and
You're in.
and they were just like, so one of the bands has dropped out, and we got an extra space in this Battle of the Bands concert. Do you wanna come on? And we're like, what the fuck?
Oh my, this is literally Carol and Tuesday. Like that's exactly what happened in Carol and Tuesday.
This is anime, bro.
Yeah, this is an anime.
And so we were just like, I mean, yes, but how the fuck can we prepare in a week for this Battle of the Bands, which is like other bands have prepared for like a good month or 2,
Yeah.
you know, like playing with a band is fucking much more difficult than you imagine it if you've never played in a band before, because you're in a live setting, right? And a lot of things can go wrong, and you need to be on the same wavelength as your other band members. I've played plenty of gigs, and some gigs are better than others. Sometimes you make mistakes, and sometimes, you know, you're not in sync with the rest of the band, and you need to be tight. You need like the performance needs to be tight. So you need a lot of practice. So we said yes, but we didn't really have time to practice the songs that we wanted to practice.
Right.
But there was like one joke song that we had practiced. We had practiced before because we didn't really have any gigs coming up, and it was
I just had sex by Lonely Island.
and it was an indie rock version of "Hit Me Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It was "Hit Me Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears.
Hell yeah.
And we were just like, well, we don't really have time to practice some of our more complicated songs, so let's just put that in the set. Whatever, right? I remember we had the conversation before of we always wanted the experience of like having the audience, having the audience sing part of the song. Like a lot of bands do that.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember we were having this discussion of, the perfect point of this song would be what's the line? How does Hit Me Baby One More Time go again?
No, I think he's thinking about the chorus, right?
Yeah.
Hit me, baby, one more time. It's
No.
not
Here it is. It's when the line goes, "My loneliness is killing me."
Yeah.
And I.
Yeah.
And we were saying that would be an awesome point for like the audience to like chime in, but like we were just
to do the and I
to do the and I, because that would be like an awesome feeling. We thought.
Of course.
But we were just like, no, we're not going to do it, because like, what's more embarrassing than like stopping a song, letting the audience sing, and no one sings. Like we did not have the fucking balls to do this, right? And so I remember we go to the Battle of the Bands, and it's like the biggest audience so far. Normally we're used to performing for like 50 to 100 people, so this was
which
like
is still a lot.
Which is still a lot, which is still a lot. But like this was like about 500 people. It was at like it was at like Concord 2, which if you know if you know Brighton, Concord 2 is actually one of the biggest venues. That's not like the Brighton. That's not the main Brighton venue. It's like a lot of big indie bands go there.
That's cool.
And so we go on stage and we're just like, guys, we're not going to take this seriously. A lot of these bands are fucking amazing. We're just going to have fun. We're just
so anime.
We're just going to have fun, right? And I remember, so we go on stage, we play the set, and this is me like playing on pure adrenaline. So we're not practiced at all. We're not as tight as we want to be in terms of our performance, but seeing like, for some reason, just like playing in front of like the biggest crowd kind of like hyped us up. And I can't really explain the feeling, but it just like something that day just clicked. You know some days where you're just like in the zone. Like that day, for some reason, all of us were just in the zone. We were like at peak performance, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember we decided, because we were going to meme it up, we decided we were going to end it on Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just going to be our original songs, and we were going to end it on that because we were just like, we don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
The audience is probably not going to like it because it's fucking Britney Spears, but we're just going to have fun with it. And then I remember when we start playing the song, somehow the audience just like erupts. Right? The audience, and because like this is not the type of audience that would listen to fucking Britney Spears.
Yeah.
They're here for like fucking Arctic Monkeys. They're here for fucking Block Party, or like the Klaxons or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I remember playing this song, right? And obviously we had agreed that we weren't going to stop the music with the and I, right? But we saw the energy in the crowd, right?
You had no choice.
And we were like, it was one of the most surreal moments in my life, right? Where we had this performance where we were just all like we were in flow, we were just in like, we were like Kuroko Basket in the zone. And I remember the moment was coming up, right? I looked over to the drummer.
That's so anime. We all looked at you.
We looked at each other.
No, because I remember I was like, I want to do this, but we agreed that we wouldn't. And I remember thinking, I want to do this. And I remember looking at the drummer, and he had like the same look as I did. I looked over the bassist, and the bassist was just like,
"Oh my god!"
And he nodded at me, and then I looked over to the singer, and in the corner of he sees me at the corner of my eye, at the corner of his eye, and I'm just like, and then he nods back, and I'm just like, okay, it's going to happen. And so he goes, "My loneliness is killing me." Silence. And like the fucking entire like concert hall just like fucking, they complete the line, and it's just like, I can't explain that fucking feeling. It's
better than sex.
It is like the biggest orgasm I've had in my life. Like
poor Sydney.
Because it was I don't know, it was kind of like a Disney moment for me, because like somehow everything just fucking came together, and then we continued the song, and it was the best reaction that we've ever got from a crowd.
Damn.
So the Battle of the Bands was done by votes, and there were 10 bands there. We came in third.
Oh, shit.
Did you get anything? Any prize?
No, we didn't get any prize. We didn't get any prize. But that was.
But he did get the biggest orgasm of his life.
Yeah, that was the peak of my
music career.
That was the peak of my music career. It all went down.
I mean, that's pretty ridiculous considering there's how many fucking hundreds of bands that have probably never experienced that.
True. And from that day onward, he relinquished the name Grant and became Garnt. He wasn't right to use the name.
We leveled up and evolved.
Yeah, we can't use the name anymore. Damn, that's crazy. How the fuck have you never brought this up?
How have you never brought this up?
I don't. I swear I've said I've been in a band before, and no one's ever just.
Everyone's been in a band before. No, everyone's been in a band before.
No, yeah.
I've been in a band for like 10 seconds until I realized it was a horrible idea.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I really liked Beck, because I looked at Beck and I'm just like, fuck, I get that.
That's my life.
So you were like actually good at guitar?
I was like competent at guitar.
Oh, you played in front of people. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I played in front of people, but
I mean, that's by my book, that's pretty good.
So we're starting a band called 10.5 Pounds soon.
10.5 pounds.
I
look forward to it, guys.
You like unlocked memories in me. Like I heard the fucking Zelda thing when you were like, I remember I tried to learn guitar. Well, not tried, but I think my parents nudged me towards it.
Right.
I just remember being in someone's house playing guitar, trying to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Right.
And I just was like,
no.
I was like, I don't get this. And then he was like, he gave me this device that was a tuner, but I didn't know what it did. He was like, you got to do it until it goes green, the light. And I was like, why? It all sounds the same. It all sounds very similar.
It's just one beep to one other beep.
And my parents bought this tuner for me. And I remember just, even at that time when I was like 8, I was like, oh, my parents just wasted their money on this tuner. I'm never going to get good at this. I'm never going to get good at this. So I'd never learned guitar. Right. And then I remember I went to learn drums, which seems pretty fitting for me because I'm,
Well, you just need a sense of rhythm.
That's just like
and hand-eye coordination.
which is great. I've had great hand-eye coordination. Unfortunately, no rhythm. So that was the crux of that one, and that was over with. And I never really learned drums. I went for like a year, and I never really learned anything.
Really?
They try to teach me how to read the sheet music, and that's where I was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That's like jazz drumming methods.
Yeah. I didn't really enjoy it.
I think I stopped learning at the point when sheet music started to become like a thing of my lessons. I'm just like, I don't like this anymore.
This used to be fun when we were just talking about beeps and boops. Now you brought reading into this. And that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, because I think we said this last time, where I go by feeling, and that's what I went when I wrote like the
anime
songs.
Protagonist.
Because I don't understand a single thing about fucking music theory. You know, I know which chords sound nice in my head, and sometimes I have like a nice like beat or rhythm in my head, and I'm just like, let's try to play this out with guitar. I do not know what fucking.
You're
music
literally
theory
Yui
is.
from K-On! Like 100%. Like in the way you think, it's like 100%. It's the exact same. It's like I can't read shit. I just feel and I can play.
I remember at one point, for some reason, one of my friends was like, yeah, we need a singer. I was like, oh, all right, I'll do it then. I'll do it.
Really?
I'll do it. Yeah, I couldn't sing at all.
Right.
And I didn't have any confidence in it. But the first song, I'm not even kidding, the first song that we had to learn is the only one I ever bothered learning.
Yeah.
We never did anything. This died by this song. Guess what song we had to sing?
Muse song?
No, it was fucking Smash Mouth. And I remember like actually...
Why did you not pursue it?
I don't know. I have like very vivid memories of me actually seriously trying to learn how to sing fucking All-Star before it was a meme.
Right.
And I remember when this became a huge meme, I was like, this is like, I had like Nam flashbacks. Like just like, oh my God, this is the song.
Yeah, I need to hear an actual serious cover of Smash Mouth's All Star.
We go to karaoke.
Because every time we go to karaoke, of course, All Star comes up at least 4 or 5 times throughout the night, and every time it's just Connor singing in like a dumb voice. I want you to actually like be serious and like try and
if I seriously try and sing, I feel vulnerable. I feel open to criticism. I can't do that.
No. I won't.
If I'm the clown, it's safe.
No.
Safety.
I get that, Connor. I get that.
You're bad at something.
No, you can't hide. You can't.
I'll hide.
Now that you said that, you
I'll
have
hide
to do
behind
that.
my clown makeup. Thank you very much.
Now that you said that, you have to do that.
So that was your first pick.
that was my first pick, Muse.
Oh my God, it's been like 4 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, like Muse is one of the only bands I've also seen live as well.
Bradio they had such amazing hair. Look at that.
Dude, Lindsay Bradio's got the best.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's running for his money.
Honestly,
that fucking afro.
like this is like the early days of Bradio as well. Bradio, like his afro, like now is like
insanity.
fucking massive.
Huge, yeah.
It's huge. So yeah, I mean, I've also seen Bradio live as well. I mean, like the reason I put Bradio up there is because I discovered Bradio with Sydney during like a really tough and time in like our lives when like I was living in London working for the BBC and like every day was like depressing as shit, of course, you know, especially with like the commute that I had. Right. But for some reason, no matter how down my day was, I put on a Bradio song and I am instantly happy. Like for just like that 5 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever, I could just feel glad and happy for a second.
Is it bad? I can't remember which songs they've done. Which anime
they did Death Parade.
That's
like,
it. That's the like I thought it was them.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to look like an asshole.
Yeah. Put your hands up.
That song does go hard.
Yeah, I mean, like,
goes so hard.
It was not only that song, but I remember what really sold me on Bradio was first time I heard that song. Of course, it was a banger. Everyone heard the Death Parade opening and they knew it was a banger, but it was actually their music video, right? Because if you see their music video, it's just like 4 dudes having fun with the green screen, and it's like got such a charm to it, right? Because they do this a lot with some of their music videos where they're just like taking the piss and like trying to like either replicate this anime opening, because what they did in this music video was they tried to replicate the anime opening of Death Parade just with a shitty green screen and 4 of them. And it was just like using like, you know, very basic cosplay and a green screen and makeup and all this stuff. And it's got such a charm to them because it just shows that it just feels like it's 4 dudes having fun, having a fucking blast, and not really giving a shit about what the world thinks about them, you know?
My other favorite music video by them is Golden Liar.
Oh,
like where they're just like, it's literally just like them on stage, and they're just fucking having the time of their life. And it's such a good song, and it's such a good music video. It's so fun.
Such a good bass line as well. It's like the funk in that bass line. Oh,
so good, so funky.
I want to listen to them more.
Yeah, you should. I feel like you'd like them. Because
honestly, like the rest of their like discography is like nothing but bangers. Like I haven't heard a bad Bradio song.
Yeah. Before we move on from Muse, though, I have a funny story, or not a funny story, because like I remember when I saw them live, it was in Thailand, right? And like
they went to Thailand.
No, that's the thing, right? That's so it was when I was living in Thailand,
right?
And it was so fucking random because I'd gone my entire life being a massive Muse fan, living in England, you know, and just never getting the chance to fucking see them at all because they never performed when I was in England. And so like the first time in my life that I actually got to see them perform was in Bangkok, Thailand. Like what the fuck, right? So random. I remember like I remember thinking Is this real? This is so surreal that I'm going to be able to see Muse in Thailand. Out of all the places in the world I could see Muse. So I remember going to this concert where dragging Sydney along because of course, even though she wasn't as big of a Muse fan as I was, I needed someone to go with me. And so I remember like this was like the highlight of my month because I'm like, fuck me, man. I get to see Muse. I get to fucking see Muse. And I remember going to the concert, and I remember going to the stage and just like eagerly excited for them to come on. And I remember the first band that came on was a band called The Ruse. The Ruse. Okay. So that's RUSE. Right? So I forgot that they needed a supporting band, right? Of course, like so my first thought was, have we just gone to the wrong fucking concert? Is this a Muse concert?
Or is this a Ruse concert?
like what? Is this like the Thai knockoff of the Muse? What's going on? And then they start playing. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're just going to play one song. And then they play the second song. I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to play 2 songs. And then Muse is going to come on. They play 5 songs. And after the 4th song, I'm just like, have I made a terrible mistake? And we've just come to Bangkok, Thailand to see The Ruse.
Oh no!
Did they end up coming on?
But they did.
Okay, thank God.
But like I was just like, I just remember thinking, at first I was like, maybe it's a sporting band. And then like 4 songs later, I really hope I didn't just spend all this money to see a fucking knockoff Muse band, man.
You're duped by the Ruse.
Did they do that on purpose? They have the Ruse supporting the Muse?
Maybe.
Probably.
You must have done
They
that
must
on purpose.
have chosen them on purpose, right? There's no fucking way.
You could be a supporting artist. Just change your name.
Yeah.
Change your name to the Ruse. No reason why. Just do it.
Yeah, but
Don't copy my homework too hard.
I would be bricking it if I got there and they're like, welcome, the Ruse. I'm like, check the ticket right now. Check it right now.
I literally I literally had to go outside just to check that the main poster said Muse. Then like I was coming in to see Muse perform. I go outside and it's like, yes, it is Muse. Go back in, still the Ruse. I was like, maybe they made a mistake out front on the. maybe they got the letters wrong. I don't know.
I would be bricking it. I'd be bricking it.
I mean, I've seen enough knockoff things in Southeast Asia to be like, maybe they just pretended to be Muse this entire time.
It's the Thai version of Muse.
Yeah, right.
That'd be so funny.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I saw them live and they were absolutely
So
fucking
jealous.
incredible.
I'm shocked you put the Killers on here. Do you like more than the one song?
Do you like more than Mr. Brightside?
Yes. I
Ruby?
That's
That's
Kaiser
Kaiser
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That's how little I know about the Killers.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
sound so
To
similar
be honest,
other.
to be honest, I only know Mr. Brightside.
Do they
as well.
have any other songs?
Yeah, they have Mr. Brightside.
Apparently, their latest album's really good. That one that came out
haven't-
last year, I think.
I actually haven't heard that latest album
Yeah.
yet.
Wait, so why are they on the list, Garnt?
Why are they on the list? Because I think like the Killers was my university life, right? My university
Yeah.
life. I was actually like already into the Killers before like Mr. Brightside came to like take over the UK scene.
You were fans before they were popular.
Well, kind of, but like they also really just exploded onto the UK scene with Somebody Told Me. That was like the
Oh,
first song
yeah,
that
that was a
really
big one.
exploded,
Yeah.
and like I was already into indie rock at the time, and for the longest time I thought they were a British rock band.
Everyone
Like,
does.
Yeah.
They're like a Mormon Americans, though.
Yeah. So like for the longest time, I thought that they were a British rock band the same way as like Arctic Monkeys were, and and a lot of other British indie bands.
Yeah.
Because they came out in that time. But I didn't know they were from America. But they were like the one indie band that I listened to still throughout university. Because the reason I stopped listening to a lot of indie music is because my band broke up because we all went to university. Right. But I mean, I listened to the Killers and I don't know which album is which songs, but I know I listened to a lot of. See, I'm drawing a fucking blank right now.
Yeah.
I just know I've listened to a lot of Killers, and the reason it's on here is not only because I listened to them a lot in university, but it's also the first band that me and Sydney bonded over.
Oh.
So,
Cute.
so Sydney likes to quote a lot of songs to like a lot of people that she hung out with, right? And apparently she told me that the only time someone had completed a song lyric that she had quoted instead of just being like, Sydney, what the fuck are you talking about? Was when she quoted the Killers to me via text, and she just randomly said,
Somebody told me.
not somebody told me, I got soul. And I'd reply
Yeah.
back, fuck. Oh man,
I replied back, fuck, and she was like, oh my god, you're the one. Garnt's like, what?
The absolute irony.
fuck me. I'm just like, this is. I'm drawing a fucking blank right now. What's
It's like, I got soul, and then you're
so
just
I'm
like,
not a soldier. Is that the
Excuse me?
line? Is that the line? This is like me trying to remember lyrics, right?
I think it is,
Because
I
I'm
got
just
soul,
like
so
I'm
I'm
just
not a
like so
soldier. I
I got
think it is.
soul, so
Yeah.
I'm not a soldier, or something like that. This okay. Like I said, I don't listen to lyrics. Like I just know.
But you managed to quote back that one?
yeah.
Huh?
That's the one line he managed to quote back.
Yeah, that's the one line I managed to quote back,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Whoa, you're a Killers fan?
You're the one.
you are the one. You are the first
You
person."
took
to
a
quote me."
very big gamble replying with that. You could have looked like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You'd been like, what's wrong with Garnt? He just said he's not a soldier or something. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, but so the Killers hold a very, a very deep place in my heart. Not only because I listen to the Killers and I am reminded of university life, but also because it's part of the reason that I met and bonded with my partner that I'm with now.
Cute.
So, and I also saw them live in Bangkok, Thailand as well. it's so weird.
We saw the drillers live in Bangkok. It was just a construction team.
Supporting act, the fillers.
We saw the drillers. Yeah, I mean, I remember I remember seeing them live, and the first song that they played was Mr. Brightside, and obviously
course.
Mr. Brightside
You gotta start off strong.
is the song that everyone knows, right? And I remember it was such a surreal experience just hearing a song that I'd listened to so much in my childhood, right? And it was almost like it was almost like a weird outer fucking body experience, right? Where I had this song that meant so much to me when at one point in my life, and I saw them now at the age of like 25, 26 or something like that, like way later. And it just like a wave of just like, it was so surreal because it was like a wave of like memories and nostalgia, but also like me living in the moment. It's so weird to describe because just hearing them live and hearing like, it was like my life had like built up to this one moment, you know? I don't know.
Beautiful.
because I'd never seen a band that I loved so much as a kid later in life until that one moment. So it was just such an incredible moment for me. I will never forget hearing Mr. Brightside for the first time live.
And then we have Michael Jackson.
Okay, so
I mean, I also like Vanilla. So
okay, so the reason that Michael Jackson is on there is because, so as a kid, I went through a phase where I was.
Yeah, you spoke about this, right?
Yeah,
I think you have.
Really?
I feel like this is weirdly familiar. Garnt talking about
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I have talked about it on the podcast, but as a kid, I went through this massive phase where I was obsessed with Michael Jackson. I was a weird.
Definitely said this.
I don't know if I've said it in private to you guys or on the podcast, but like, yeah, I went through a phase when I was like just an obsessive Michael Jackson kid. Like,
I think everyone's gone through that phase.
It was the target audience, right?
Once. Yeah.
This was before that phase, but you know, regardless of what his image was, you know, or what happens later in life, there were, you know, his music fucking slaps. And
of course.
It's like, yes, it's vanilla, but it's a classic for a reason, right?
I fucking love the song Pretty Young Thing, but it's so hard. It's so hard to listen to that song.
Because the lyrical content.
You know, you know how when like they like separate the art from the artist? I do, but sometimes it's really fucking hard to.
Yeah, that song definitely didn't age well.
That's one of those songs I'm like, why? This song is so good, but why did it have to be ruined? I literally cannot listen to that song without being like, this is a great song.
And then you remember what it was about. MJ, I feel...
But like so many of his songs are amazing.
MJ's just one of those like artists that I feel you could be at any party or like any convention, like with any amount of people that could have completely different personalities on everything. The moment a Michael Jackson song comes on, everyone is unanimously like, "Fuck yeah!"
His song's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I think we talked about this before, but like I don't think we'll ever see someone that had the reach or was like as famous as Michael Jackson was.
People famous just by standing.
I love that. Because like part of the reason I got into Michael Jackson was because my dad actually introduced me to Michael Jackson. I remember he bought like a VHS of like the top 25 hits of, I think it was like a 25th anniversary.
I wish I had like a deep story of every single pick. I don't.
This is the reason I had the picks, because I was like, I don't know how to talk about the music. I'm just going to talk about the story.
It's like Slumdog Millionaire. It's like every single answer has like a goddamn 10-part back like flashback. This is insane.
Yeah, so it's one of the weirdest experiences where like you go to like the countryside and fucking Thailand or something. Like they've never experienced internet there. They barely have electricity there. You know, you go to the fucking countryside and like even going in the middle of nowhere, somehow there will be this one farmer who will have this like old beaten up cassette tape of like Michael Jackson Thriller. And like they will not know a single word of English, right? And they're like, "Oh, you grew up in England? You know Michael Jackson? You Michael Jackson Thriller, beat it." And I'm just like, how has Michael Jackson how does Michael Jackson have this reach?
Well, he's the king of pop, right?
Yeah. So like it's still like thinking about it still blows my mind just how famous one person is.
I think Thriller even to this day, is the most sold album ever.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I say I think so, like I have any idea.
Yeah. Which is like stupid.
That sounds right.
It's like it's like by stupid I mean like the difference between Thriller and everything else is like stupid. Like
True.
It's insane. Yeah, because like you could go to the bumfuck middle of nowhere in Japan.
Yeah.
And there'll be some like decrepit 70-year-old, 80-year-old lady, putting rice in the rice fields and being like, "Oh, my kid a Jack song." Yeah.
I can describe it as decrepit. Just a piece of shit old lady. They're all useless.
Decrepit wasn't the right word.
This poor old lady just trying to give you some rice, which Jerry will say will taste the same anyway.
It all tastes the same. Yeah, who just like knows Michael Jackson. It's like it's just
everyone knows Michael
It's ridiculous.
Jackson.
Like
it's like weird. It's like weird to think how one person got this famous to like so many cultures and so many countries that obviously had nothing to do with the US or just like even listen to that kind of music in the first place. And I mean, Thriller is like, I know putting like Thriller on there is kind of like putting like, fucking Zelda or something as your favorite video game of all time. But I mean, it's one of the most legendary albums, and he is one of the most legendary artists for a reason.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, and I was a weird Michael Jackson kid. I actually
Did you learn how to moonwalk?
Huh?
Did you learn how to moonwalk?
I attempted to learn how to moonwalk. I think
I could moonwalk at one point.
I could
It's
moonwalk
not
at one
bullshit.
point
I could
too.
do it.
Yeah.
Could you actually?
Yeah, genuinely.
Yeah.
Did you figure it out by yourself? Or
No. I watch YouTube videos.
I think I watched YouTube videos.
Okay. Because I remember trying to figure it out as a kid, right? Trying to figure out how the moonwalk works, right? Because
You go like frame by frame on the video, just like analyzing the moonwalk.
Yeah, because and as like a 5-6-year-old kid or whatever, I was like, I got this. This looks exactly like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was only until like years later when YouTube existed and YouTube videos existed did I realize this is not how you do the moonwalk.
Like,
I was doing it wrong.
I was just walking backwards.
Literally, I was just like walking backwards the entire time, thinking I look cool as fuck. No.
I tried to do like the the leg like pop thing that he does.
Oh yeah.
I tried to do that.
I tried to do that and almost dislocated my knee. So I was like, "Ow!"
That's how Jerry became a pensioner at age 5.
I was like, "Oh, is that why he shouts ow?" Because it just fucking hurts, right? Yeah.
And this Japanese artist.
Yeah. So okay. Fuck me.
Well done. Just frothing over Michael Jackson, just slurping up.
So that you can add that to the compilation of Garnt tries to drink like a human being. So I guess this is with the Mayo, but this is more of like where I put her in just because I feel like she's a genre of music that I have just recently gotten into.
Yeah.
And as with everything in my life, somehow everything always comes back to Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh, for fuck.
as
John was like, I was born for this moment.
as it always does, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what this genre of music is because it's not really just J-pop. It's more of like, okay, so how I would describe it. Do you guys know what utaites are?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so utaites are like, I believe, singers or musicians who mostly originated from Nico Nico, who started off doing a lot of like Hatsune Miku songs and
Just
stuff like
covers
that.
in
Yeah,
general,
covers and stuff like that. So a lot of these musicians who came from the scene ended up just like, I guess, graduating and just made, started making their own songs with their own original artists. And there's this, I don't know what the genre is, but there's a lot of artists in this genre that I got introduced to by the Domestic Girlfriend opening. Because, Domestic Girlfriend is a very divisive show. I know that.
Really?
I know that. The opening fucking slaps.
Yeah, the opening's amazing.
The opening is fucking amazing.
I don't know the opening.
I'm not going to even be able to attempt to sing it.
it's hard.
It's not exactly a catchy song. It is just a banger,
like
right? Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And so that's how I discovered that artist, Minami. And Spotify recommendations, YouTube recommendations. So I got really into Minami and her songs from the Domestic Girlfriend opening, and that kind of introduced me to this world of artists like Zutamayo, Eve. Who else is fucking Yorishika, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yorishika,
Yeah, so how I describe them is like they are anime music that don't have an anime that they play to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, like I've listened to this. Didn't know their name, but like if you go to my YouTube, you can see that I've listened to this person a lot.
Yeah.
It's just like that genre of like I'm making the anime in my head.
Yeah.
I'm making this up.
So like a lot of these artists that I listen to now have now been picked up for like anime openings, right?
Yes.
So I remember like I got into Zootomaya and then I got into Eve, and then I remember listening to the Jujutsu Kaisen opening when that came out, and for the first time in my life, I'm just like, oh my god, I know this band. Because I'd never heard this song before, but like they have such a distinct style that I had that moment where I'm just like, I've been following them since they were underground, motherfucker.
That's it. I read the manga.
Yeah.
You just wave that in front of the Jujutsu Kaisen fans. It's like, I know this song.
It is the equivalent of the I've read this when the manga wasn't big, right? Because because there are so many artists in this field that have now been picked up for an anime opening or ending, and like there's this feeling of like, yes, your music slaps. I'm fucking proud of you.
I'm validated for being a fan.
I was like that with Rinto Shigure.
Oh, really?
Like before they became the Psycho Pass opening and the Tokyo Ghoul opening, I was like, I knew them before this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, you knew before them.
I knew before they were anime.
Then also I'm a little sad because now everyone knows Eve as, it's the Jujutsu Kaisen band. I'm like, no, they're not just the Jujutsu Kaisen.
There's so much more.
There's so much more than that. Listen to the rest of their fucking songs. So yeah, I mean, like this is, I guess that's the kind of music I listen to the most now. That's like, that's like my weeb kind of.
It's really big in Japan right now, especially like Zutto Mayonaka and like Yorushika. They're like,
Daft Punk? You're a Daft Punk? I'm surprised you're a Daft Punk.
Daft Punk?
I didn't know you were a big Daft Punk fan.
I was a big Daft Punk fan during like the Discovery album actually, and like I'm thinking back, and a lot of my favorite songs or a lot of my favorite music have visuals to accompany them. Like, do you guys? Okay, when you guys listen to a song, do you guys imagine like a music video in your head or anything like that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Depends on the song for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like for me, like if I can't connect to a song unless I can imagine some kind of story or some kind of visuals to accompany that song. And I feel like I have such a random music taste because to me, like I don't really listen to lyrics, but if a song emotes an emotion or a visual image in my head, then that's when I get really emotionally connected to a song, right? And to me, how I discovered Daft Punk was I discovered it through Interstellar 5555,
So
right?
good.
Which was a fucking amazing movie, and it's also one of the few albums I have listened to all the way through, based purely from that movie, right? And from then on, from watching that movie and seeing the story that they crafted from that movie, every Daft Punk song I listen to, I have such cool visuals that go along with it in my head. That's why I became like such a massive Daft Punk fan.
How did that even happen? That anime? Was it literally just the guy listened to it and was like, "Holy shit, I gotta make an anime to go with this"?
I think, I don't know exactly, but I think Matsumoto Reiji was like a fan of Daft Punk.
Yeah.
And then they just like worked something out, and then
because it's so
animated
good.
it, I guess.
I would like to know. I would like to know, like, what kind of like fucking.
What do I have to do to get Matsumoto Reiji to make a music video?
How did that connection happen?
You know? I don't even know.
Because this was before anime was even close to big, you know? This was like underground as fuck. So
Do you have a favorite song from the album? Mine always changes quite often.
it's hard.
From Daft Punk.
It's probably harder, better, faster, stronger.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
for me, it's like, I know it's the vanilla pick, but like One More Time will always be.
One More Time's amazing.
One More Time.
One More Time or Digital Love.
I like
Face
to
my two
Face a lot.
favorites.
Digital Love is fucking incredible.
Digital Love is an amazing song.
Yeah. And like I think the reason I picked Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger was because I remember when I first started getting into AMVs, and everyone tried to make Linkin Park AMVs. I did nothing but just make Daft Punk AMVs. that was me, man. That was like
they already made an AMV.
The rest of YouTube went through a Linkin Park phase. I was here just like it was like the entire Discovery Channel in anime form, aside from like not even the movie, but just like in Naruto clips or shit like that. And then
when you heard the Kanye West remix of that song, you were just like, oh my god.
I think that's. I heard that before I heard the original Daft Punk.
I discovered Kanye through that song.
Huh.
I was like, "Why? Who's
that
this
song-
guy?"
that
I
song
was like,
blew
"Who's this
up,
guy
yeah.
rapping over
Yeah.
a Daft Punk song?" And then
So good.
At first I hated that song because I'm just like, why would you ruin Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger? And then like, the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, all right, this fucking slaps. This fucking slaps.
Yeah.
Kanye, all right,
Like-
you're a crazy motherfucker, but
he's gonna get big. I can feel it.
I think this guy's going to do stuff.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be quite notable.
And Arctic Monkeys, obviously, a British
yeah,
staple.
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already talked about my indie phase. I kind of just, it wasn't just Arctic Monkeys. It was
I feel like
just-
everyone born around our generation-ish,
Yeah.
British,
Yeah.
loves Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, because
It's
if I would
very
have to
normal.
say what influences I took when I was in my band, right? It was bands like Arctic Monkeys, the Klaxons, Strokes. Who else was like big at the time? Razorlight.
Oh wow, very fucking hell.
Also like Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters as well. Just like
Everyone.
any
In Australia around that time, White Stripes was massive.
Oh, White Stripes as well.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, I
Yeah.
fucking love the White Stripes. So yeah, I mean that slot is just there for just mid 2000s indie
British
rock
check,
bands.
British check,
Yeah,
British check.
British check, right? British check.
And then you got Pillows.
And then I have the Pillows. Well, I put the Pillows there because I did go through a phase where there was a lot of anime music on my playlist.
Dude, we've all been there. Come on.
Yeah, we've all
come
been
on.
there.
And I feel
Joey
like
was the anime man at one point.
Yeah.
and
Good old times.
but like back then I didn't look up the bands behind the anime music. It was just anime music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
My Apple thing was TV size bracket.
Yeah. A lot of 1 minute 30 songs. Yeah.
and I remember Fooly Cooly was like the first entire OST that I took this entire OST because every song in the Fooly Cooly OST, because it was basically just the Pillows album, right?
Yeah,
It was just an album of the Pillows. It was the first time where I took an entire anime OST and put it on my MP3 player, which wasn't even an iPod. It was like this,
Like an actual like MP3.
yeah,
player.
yeah. It was like a knockoff, cheap ass like Chinese MP3 player that I can't even remember the brands because
Probably doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, probably doesn't exist anymore because I couldn't afford a proper iPod or proper like branded MP3 player.
I had one that was like kind of like shaped like a long pill. It was like a blue pill.
Yeah, same.
And then you could put like an aux
Yeah,
cord in it. And
yeah,
it was like
yeah,
tiny screen and the name of the song would like scroll
Same.
across.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, good times.
Yeah,
Kids will never understand.
And I mean, like the Pillows, kind of it is again kind of just like Japanese, but also has had like
I was this close to putting the Pillows on mine, but
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
and like I again like the reason I really loved that soundtrack is because FLCL is kind of just like an AMV, but
Yeah.
just in
Just
an
a 6
anime form.
episode
Is the
AMV.
second season good?
It's good, but nowhere near as good.
It's
yeah.
not as good.
It's
I've
not
never
as good.
watched.
It has its moments.
You
in
gotta
it.
watch the first one.
But
Yeah.
to, like to me, like 90% of why I love Fooly Cooly so much was because of the Pillows.
Oh yeah.
And the visuals were it was kind of like watching Interstellar 5555 again. Where I'm
So
just
if you like the music, you'll like the anime.
Oh,
What if
yeah,
you-
yeah.
What if you're not
And-
into the music? And you're like, oh.
It's gonna be hard to not be into the music.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
I mean,
Okay.
it kind of sets the tone
Yeah.
of the entire show.
That makes sense.
There's a reason why it's like one of the most like famous anime OSTs.
Yeah, people never shut up about
Yeah.
Fully Cooley and
Yeah.
why it's so amazing and
Yeah.
why I should
Yeah,
care.
but like it's like moments like this where I was afraid whenever people were just like, "Yo, well, let's pass the aux cord. Let's see what your music taste is." And I'm just like, "Fuck, man. What? How am I going to explain? Yeah, like TV-sized Naruto opening 5. Like, what is that? What is that?"
Yeah, but at least it was like, like hard, cut and dry like J-rock, right? Like I was listening
Yeah.
to like Lucky Star opening on my MP4. I was like, that's even harder to explain. It's like, yeah, pass the aux. I'm like, I don't think you want the aux, man. Like,
I definitely listened to too much Hannah Montana at one point.
Really?
More than I'd care to admit.
you're
Why
listening
Hannah
to, like
Montana?
Best of Both
I don't know.
Worlds.
I was just like obsessed with Hannah Montana.
Best of Both Worlds was an amazing song.
That's good. When I was like 13, I was like obsessed with Hannah Montana. And I don't know why. So much so that one of the first books I ever read was Miley Cyrus's autobiography.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I wish that was a joke. I wish that's those string
You're
of
a
words.
hardcore Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus fan.
For some reason, I was obsessed with the Disney Channel when I was like 12 or 13.
That makes sense, though.
I think I was sold on the dream that you can do whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I realized that no, it's not how it works.
No. And then you saw how Miley turned out, right?
Yeah.
It was,
It was,
like,
I was like, there's this Selena Gomez woman. She's much better.
switch gears.
Much better. I'm done with it. It's the Woody meme. I don't know. I don't know why. I just liked it. And also, I liked the music for some reason. It's weird. It's weird how when you're 12 and 13, you're just a fucking idiot.
I was more obsessed with Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff.
Yeah, like more than I don't know why.
Isn't it weird how you just have those phases?
Yeah, Miley didn't really click for me. Hillary, I was like, yeah, I can get behind this. I don't know why.
I mean, I feel like everyone has that one thing that they've shoved down in their subconscious and repressed it. They're like, I never liked this. If you say I did not.
It's so inexplainable now that I think about it. I was like, why?
Why
did I like Hilary Duff?
I cannot explain to you why.
Was she like hot to me? I don't know.
I think I liked the escapism that it offered.
Yeah,
when I was like 12,
that could be
13.
it.
Yeah. Copium, something. I don't know why.
12-year-old copium.
What's wrong with me? And now I'm this jaded British man who likes beans on toast. Back then I had dreams and stuff. Disney Channel.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to you?
Anyway.
Man, anime does that. Anime does that shit, man.
Destroys dreams.
Yeah, I mean, so that is my 3x3. I don't know if that's like random as fuck.
It makes sense.
I mean,
It's
like,
gone.
I feel like I've talked more behind the stories of.
I just want to hear more about you being in a band now.
Yeah,
like, how am I supposed to live up to
stories
this?
about living in the band.
Yeah.
To be continued.
How am I supposed to live up to that?
Who's going to be next?
Oh my god!
It's the Joey.
No one. End of
It's
episode.
Yoey.
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 Yeah.
Yeoj.
Helm. Upside down. Sorry.
Hill.
Let's put Joey's on. This episode is sponsored by Magic Spoon.
Guys, do you remember waking up as a kid, watching Saturday morning cartoons, and eating that nice bowl of cereal?
I do, Joey.
Don't you miss that feeling? God, I miss it so much. Like, you can't really do it as an adult anymore, right?
Well, Magic Spoon is the cereal for you adults out there who want some of that nostalgia back in your
Thank you. I
life.
can actually start eating this now. I've been waiting to eat this.
Did you know that inside of the Magic Spoon cereal, there's 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving? And each serving is only 140 calories. Isn't that amazing?
Did you also know that they're keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free,
and low carb.
Honestly, no joking. Me and Sydney have been obsessed with these, which is why I was hungry. So I actually couldn't wait to start eating these because, like, these are actually really good.
Well, if the boys haven't convinced you, I don't know what will. So if you want to get your very own Magic Spoon, click that link below to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code TRASHTASTE at the checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/trashtaste. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So again, click that link in the description down below and use coupon code TRASHTASTE for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/trashtaste to save $5 today. Back to the episode.
is pretentious music critic time. Let's go.
Hold up, can I guess these?
Please, guess them.
This is, okay, I know this one. This is from that one video where it was like, this is your rapper's favorite rapper, Dr. Doom.
It's MF Doom.
Yeah, that's Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom. Yeah, he got his doctorate.
I know that unfortunately he passed away not too long ago as well, right?
Yeah. He died of COVID, actually.
I recognize Radiohead.
Yep, that's Radiohead.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who they are?
Yeah.
I mean, is he gone on a TV show? You look, I feel like I've seen him on TV.
Tom York been on a TV show? I don't know.
Can we Google that? Am I going crazy?
Maybe? I don't know.
Try and guess?
Please. I'll be surprised if you can get anyone else. Really.
Drake Bell.
I know one of them.
Drake Bell.
Is this Drake Bell?
Yeah.
I know one of them's Tool.
Yeah, that's
Right.
tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
But why do they all look the same? Is this a British band?
Yes.
It could be like the Who or the Sex Pistols, or it could be one of them.
It's not Who or Sex Pistols, but it's that era.
Yeah, I feel like they all look. Okay, I'm British. They all look exactly the
That is
fucking
true.
same.
They do.
Okay, so from left to right, we got
Okay.
Tool, Led Zeppelin,
Okay,
Radiohead,
shit. My brother's gonna
Tangerine
kill me.
Dream, Pink Floyd, Nick Drake, MF Doom, American Football, and Maeda Jun.
My brother's gonna fucking kill me. He absolutely is obsessed with like Led Zeppelin.
Really?
Yeah, he was obsessed with them.
I'll be
He
good
loves
friend-
all of that era bands. And
Oh
he knows
yeah,
them
yeah.
really well.
I mean, I could have put like 9 just 70s hard rock bands
Yeah.
as well if I wanted to. But
Because I love a lot of their music, but at the same time, I have no idea what any of the bands look like. like you know,
That's what they look like. They all look like long hair.
Like Black Sabbath. I know what Ozzy Osbourne looks like now.
Yeah.
I don't know what he looked like.
He
God,
kind
he
of
looks so different back then.
Yeah, younger Ozzy Osbourne actually looked like a human.
Yeah.
Poor this 80-year-old Japanese woman. No, Ozzy's getting drugged. To be fair, Ozzy is aged strangely.
Yeah, when I saw him live, it was weird.
Ozzy is like, you know those time lapses of like, this chicken nugget has been in the closet for 70 years and hasn't aged, but it has, and that's how I feel. I don't know why. Is that a fair comparison? I don't even know. That's how I feel. It's like it shouldn't be alive, but it looks worryingly well.
It's like Ozzy now kind of looks like if someone took Ozzy Osbourne, deflated him, and then reinflated him again. Like,
is he the one who's done like?
It looks like if someone took Ozzy Osbourne and just like he left him in water for too long.
Poor Ozzy. Yeah, like because hasn't he done like an insane amount of drugs or something?
Oh yeah. I mean, he should have died ages ago, normally. But I mean, that's why he can barely talk now. That's like crazy. When I went to go see Black Sabbath live, it was like the original lineup.
I'm surprised he's still performing.
Yeah, I mean, this was like maybe 5-6 years ago, and it was labeled their last tour, right? So I was like, oh, of course I have to go.
That's impressive that he's still able to perform.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like he came from when they all came onto stage and like the music starts playing, and you just see this guy just like hobbling across the stage, right? And I'm like, oh, that's him. There he is. And he just goes up to the mic and he's like, how you doing? And I was like,
normal for Birmingham. What are you talking about?
And I was like,
sorry, Birmingham.
Yeah, I don't know what you said, man, but God, you're sounding good. And he's like, oh, I'm going to perform this song. I think I know it. Generals gathered, and he just starts singing normally. I was like, why can you sing completely fine, but you can't talk normal?
You haven't lived in the UK test. I can understand him like perfectly. I'm not even joking. I can understand what he was saying. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah.
The UK is weird. It just doesn't make sense.
It gives you like it's like the hard mode of English. You know
I
what I mean? Like once you're trained in it, then you could like distinguish any accent.
No difficulties understanding English accents. Maybe because I just grew up around really strange ones.
But I guess like Black Sabbath, so Led Zeppelin for me is like kind of just all of like the British like 70s like hard rock bands. So like Black Sabbath can fit in there, like Deep Purple can fit in there because like that's just like the music my dad just grew up with. And he was like, here, do you know Rolling Stones? And I was like, and I was 2 years old and I was like, what is the music? And then he just played Rolling Stones and I was like, okay, I can get behind this. And then I think the first band I like really connected to was Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Like I fucking love every song.
I'm like an idiot. Are they the one who do Stairway to Heaven?
Yes, they are the ones who do Stairway to Heaven.
That wrong.
Stairway to Heaven, Rock and Roll, Black Dog,
Immigrant Song.
Do you know that song?
No.
The one that goes like,
oh yeah, I know. Yeah, of course I know that one.
The Viking song.
Yeah, the Viking song. That's them.
I often, living in Japan, you'll meet like, let's say you're just talking to Japanese people, whatever, and they'll be like, oh, I love British music. I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking like, fuck. What era are they going to talk to me about? Because I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
It's always like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and they'll ask me, oh, what's your favorite song? I'll be like, ooh.
Stairway
to Heaven.
This is where I have to like, this is where like my bullshit levels come into like, how well can I do this?
Yeah.
This is really rough.
Basically, like, Jimmy Page, who's the guitarist for Led Zeppelin, he's the one who basically influenced me to start guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I watched one concert from Led Zeppelin and I was like, that is the coolest fucking human alive. Like just like him just shredding on guitar. I was like, I want what he has. I want that. Can I do that?
Is it a coincidence that they're all posing very similarly? And like they just happen to all have the same looking pose?
I mean, that's just like, we are a band.
Yeah. We are a band. We're doing pretty well.
Yeah, we are a band.
Is he holding a door?
What? No, I think he's behind
a door.
He's holding a door. He's like holding a door in this thing.
Yeah, he's just like holding
I'm taking this home. I'm taking.
So I guess so Led Zeppelin is just like just my love for like 70s rock. So like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Rolling Stones.
It must have been really hard for you to decide.
It's really hard.
Because your music knowledge is vast.
Yeah. It is.
And I feel like you have an appreciation for music way
for
beyond anything me and Garnt have.
Yeah, for like me and Connor, it's like a music puddle. Like
Yeah.
yours is like a music ocean.
Basically. And then I guess like kind of in the same vein, but I had to like put it differently, was Pink Floyd in the middle.
Right.
So you love
Yeah.
Like I think I went to a concert of Pink Floyd's. Well, technically just Roger Waters.
Yeah.
And he performed. Pink Floyd has this album called The Wall.
Yeah,
which is like considered like one of the greatest like concept albums.
Joey has explained The Wall to me in great detail.
Yeah,
I like how you said they made this album called The Wall. Like it's not like one of the most favorite.
I don't know because
albums.
because people always think like, oh yeah, they made Dark Side of the Moon. It's like
that's the one I knew.
Oh, is that the one that Nostalgia Critic made? Right,
yeah. My favorite Nostalgia Critic album.
I love that album.
It's amazing.
I fucking love Nostalgia Critic.
But so Roger Waters was the guy who like mostly wrote The Wall, but like the entire band like did it as well. But like he went on like a tour all around the world to perform The Wall.
Yes.
And so I got tickets to it like miraculously from a friend of mine, and I was like, oh my god, my dream's gonna fucking come true. Like I get to see one of my favorite bands. But like it wasn't a concert, it was a fucking stage show.
Right.
So like again, the whole concept of The Wall is like guy creates a wall that's like not physical, and then he like breaks it down to like get over his musical and emotional barriers.
Right.
Super oversimplifying the album.
Okay,
but
thank you.
That's what I mean.
Speedrun.
But what was amazing about that concert is that as they are playing the songs throughout the album, they're literally physically building a wall on stage.
Oh, that's cool.
With
cool.
like it like not obviously not made out of bricks, but like big like styrofoam bricks. So like
cool.
after every song, the band members actually like go off the stage and like place bricks on the wall.
That's cool.
And then in the second half, and then in the first half of the album, he finishes building the wall, and then it just goes into like an interlude.
Was this funded by Donald Trump?
Yeah, definitely. He was like, I want it taller. and then the second half, the wall is built right, but they build it in front of the band. So as the concert is going on, you see less and less of the band.
That's so cool.
And then the second half of the album starts. The entire stage spins around.
Oh,
so now we're looking.
And so now you're looking from inside the wall.
Oh.
And then because that's the theme of the second half of the album. And then at one point at the end,
they spin the stage around.
it was all just on this like giant like Lazy Susan-esque like just rotating thing.
Right.
And then like the second to last song on the album, the main protagonist of the album, he breaks down the wall. And they literally like blow this shit up. And
so
just
cool.
the pieces just go flying into the crowd.
Fucking cool.
And then the album just ends. And like I've never like cried during a concert, but that was the first time I was like like it was one of those concerts where it's like, you know, normally like say if you go see Muse or like Pendulum, right?
Yeah.
You're fucking like standing up, you're like grooving, you're singing along, you're like fuck yeah, you know, like that kind of thing. That was the first ever concert I went to where I was just like my ass firmly planted on the seat and just staring.
Right.
And just like listening and like
Appreciate
taking it in
Yeah.
because it's like
I wish I could have that.
because
I wish I could have
it was crazy. It was like one of the like I've been to a lot of concerts in my life, but that was like one of the most like like ethereal is like the only way I can describe it. It was just so like, oh my god, it's so magical.
As someone who doesn't understand a lot of like the deeper appeal of music, like what makes The Wall such an amazing album? Because like to me, The Wall is just like the album you say if you want to impress a dad. You know, like you meet your girlfriend's dad or something, and you're like,
Does it
oh,
like
what
craft
music do you
you
like?
up?
I like.
I love The Wall.
I love Pink Floyd's The Wall, and like easy fucking brownie points.
yeah,
right?
of course.
I love IPAs. I love
IPAs. I love the football
I do
and I love
like
The Wall.
IPAs.
Yeah. Okay, so I did like a whole dissertation on The Wall. I did like so I took like music as like a major in high school because I wanted to like pursue it at uni. Obviously, I didn't end up pursuing it in uni.
Your dads are like, no, you're Asian, Jerry.
Yeah. I was like, no, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it right now. And like one of like I studied like musicology, which is just like music analysis basically.
Yeah.
And they were like, and like the year-long dissertation was take an album and just like write a dissertation about it. Like write an album review basically. I wrote like this like 40-page like dissertation on The Wall. And like what's like the most insane thing about The Wall is like not just the fact that like the story is cohesive and like all the songs flow together. Like there is no pauses between any of the songs as it flows from one song to another. Like the entire album is connected to just one big song. But the most amazing, like mind-blowing thing is the fact that the album literally repeats endlessly.
That's cool.
Right.
So the ending of the last song fades into the beginning of the first song.
That's really cool.
And like that just like completely like and that's not just like a stylistic thing. Like they did that on purpose to show that like what this main character is going through is a never-ending cycle.
Right.
And it's just constantly repeating over and over and
Tyler
over.
the Creator did that as well with
Eagle, right?
Yeah, Eagle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So like, The Wall was I'd say it was like the first album to like incorporate that style, and like a lot of obviously like Tyler and like a lot of artists took that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean like. You know, I've always said that, like, you can make, like, a concept-heavy album, right? And, like, try and tell a story. But if the music sucks, then the music's going to suck. Right?
If no one likes the song.
Right? It's like, you could have the most, like, deep-ass, like, message about, like, you know, whatever the fuck you're trying to sing about. But if the song doesn't stick with you, then it's like, there's no point.
Yeah.
The Wall, though, is like, every song's a fucking banger. So even if you listen to it individually, it's like, oh, it's a great fucking song.
Yeah.
It still fucking slaps. And then on top of that, it's like, oh, it's deep as well and profound in its lyrics. It's like, what more could you ask for, right? You know, and like the one thing though that annoys the fuck out of me is the fact that Another Brick in the Wall is from this album, and it's like Pink Floyd's most well-known song.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because, and I'm like, it's a bop. But so many people just listen to it out of context.
So they don't know what it means.
Because they don't know what it means. Because like if you
It's
actually
probably me.
because in the context of the album, it's a really fucking depressing song.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's just like played in an upbeat, and it's like a great song, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna fault them for that. But yeah, I don't know. And like all of their albums are just like that. They've never had a bad album, in my opinion. So there's that.
Yeah.
I know you love Radiohead an awful lot.
I love Radiohead, as does Garnt.
Yeah, I do as well.
I know you both bond over Radiohead.
Yeah. I mean, like I had to like pick between Muse and Radiohead, and I was just like, Muse just slightly edges it out.
I don't think there's any Radiohead songs that I've heard that have been like, I love this song.
Have you listened to Creep?
I don't like Creep that
The best
much.
song?
You guys always sing it.
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah,
because
it's like the song
because it's the least depressing Radiohead song.
Yeah, I don't really like the depressing songs unless the Weeknd sing.
Because at least it's got an upbeat right.
It sounds upbeat. Yeah,
That's because I started listening to the lyrics. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
I don't know. Like, I think for me, Radiohead. What I appreciate the most about Radiohead is that they started off as just like another '90s like alternative rock band, and then one day they were just like, "No, I don't think I will. I don't think I'll be another 90s alternative rock band. I'm gonna try something else." And then OK Computer came out, and it was like one of the most like fucking like revolutionary 90s like rock bands ever. And then like bands like Muse listened to that and was like, we can do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I
Like Coldplay as well was like heavily influenced by Radiohead, and like all these like big alternative rock bands that went a little experimental.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Radiohead are the OG in that sense, and
Yeah.
you know, they are fucking incredible. And the only reason I put Muse above them was because like I think I discovered them both at around the same time.
Yeah.
And but there's so many nights where I just like conk out and just listen to Radiohead.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's to me, if I'm like having an existential crisis, I put on Radiohead, man, because there's nothing that just like encapsulates that mood more than just like a Radiohead song.
It's like sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I just want to stay home and just like feel depressed.
I wish I could feel this strongly about music. I do. I remember I was at a place that was like classical music being played, and there was this guy. I was enjoying it. I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh, these guys are so talented.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who's in the front, and I could see him because it was kind of like like a circle, like semicircle. I could see him, and he was like tearing up at how good this was.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, fuck, how did he do that?
How did he do that?
How did this mean so much to him, or how did it make him feel this way? Because I don't understand. I like the sound a lot, and I really appreciated the artistry and everything. And I'm just like, fuck, man. I wish I was able to get what that guy had.
What do you mean, like emotional?
About from the music, it like really made him emotional.
Oh, I can easily get that.
I can't get that.
I think there's
Like-
only
am I
two.
fucked up?
I think there's only two artists in my 3x3 that haven't made me cry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that weird that I can't? I
don't think it's
I
weird.
don't think it's weird.
I wish I could get that.
Like
from
to me, I have a different problem because like I said, I never know like the deeper meaning behind the music. But like I've cried to so many songs I have no idea what they're about. And because they just make me feel things. I
I'm
don't know
jealous.
why
Man.
they
I
make me
want to
feel
feel
things.
these things.
Like I don't listen. I don't know what the lyrics mean. I'm just like, damn, man. This.
I think like, have you ever just like sat down and just listened to music?
Yeah.
And like, but I guess you're listening to like Daft Punk and shit.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
love
like,
the Beatles.
It's not like Digital Love isn't necessarily going to make you cry.
No.
Yeah.
No, it won't. I don't know. I guess it's maybe the music I listen to, the way I consume it. It's
Yeah,
different.
maybe I don't know, but I don't think it's weird. I think there's a lot of people.
Because
like,
I don't struggle to. When I watch TV or anything, it's like super easy. You cry all the time.
but there are
You feel
people who
emotions,
like struggle to cry watching movies.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, so I guess it's the
yeah.
same thing.
So it's not like I'm sitting there like.
Come on, Tears.
I'm not there doing that. It's just like I don't get what this guy's getting. I don't understand why. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe as I mature, I might. I
mean, like to me, like music is. It's going to sound so philosophical now. It's kind of like a language, They're like,
absolutely.
I don't speak.
It is like, I feel like there is something being communicated through the language of music, and like I don't even understand the words behind the music, but I feel, there are times when I think I feel the language behind it and like the emotion that is being portrayed with the music. And it's so
that's
fucking
true.
weird.
I mean, if animals are anything to go by, dancing is a language, singing is a language. Somehow they don't understand, I imagine, what they're saying, but it does something, and that's how they decided they.
Yeah.
Some
It
animals
just like
want fun.
pulls out like just some kind of like primal.
Yeah, I think so. I think we
yeah.
have an inclination to feeling towards it. I wonder where
like-
I fucked
Like
up.
I don't know what makes good music. Like I don't know what makes good music. Like literally,
I think what makes good music is just if it makes you feel a certain way.
I watch like musical memes, like memes that only people who like or are really into music would get. And I'm like, I feel like this is funny. I just couldn't understand why it was funny.
Right.
But like when somebody plays like C minor or something like that, and I'll be like, what? But yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's a bit of a deep cut, but
I don't know. It is something along those lines.
And then I guess like Tool is like probably the one band that made me love metal again.
right?
Because like
Do
I don't know.
I know any of the songs? The name sounds extremely familiar.
I mean, they're
Yeah, because Joey's talked about
'Cause
that.
Talk about them all
That's
the
probably
time,
why.
yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
because I talk about them all the time. But like I think what like speaking of like primal instinct, I think like Tool does the best job of like pulling out like that primal instinct in people when they listen.
Oh,
to
I
music.
thought you were talking about a band there.
I'm like a monkey.
I was like, Primal Instinct? I love that band.
There's a band called Primal Scream, which is good, but not Primal Instinct. Yeah, I don't know. Like Tool is like, I don't think they necessarily have like a hit song or anything. They're kind of like one of those just like cult bands. I guess maybe like The Pot.
Sober the Pod.
Yeah, Sober, The Pot, Prison Sex. There's a lot of like good songs. But like I think what makes Tool amazing and what I fell in love with Tool is that like, especially like this is a band that like you need to listen to the lyrics.
Okay.
Because it's like
Fuck.
Fuck.
yeah, because okay. but what I love about Tool is that their music just in general is so fucking good that you'll still enjoy yourself without listening to the lyrics at all.
Okay.
So like Maynard James Keenan, who's this guy in the middle, he's the lead singer. In like Tool stage shows and like concerts, normally the lead singer is in the front, right? But Maynard for some reason is behind a curtain in the back. Like you can't even see him half the time in concerts. And that's because he treats his voice as just another instrument. And if you want to listen in closely on what he's saying, then you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's the rest of the band to listen to. And I think that's like so fucking cool because it's like, again, it goes back to that whole thing of like, you might have like some deep ass message behind your music, but if your music sucks, then no one's going to fucking listen to it, right?
True.
And like Tool is like, we can make banger songs and we can make profound lyrics.
That makes sense.
And it's like, and like, I don't know, as just like musicians, it's like, I inspire to be that. And yeah, like, I don't know, like Tool is one of those metal bands that like even non-metal fans love. Like, I think every person I've shown Tool who is like not necessarily into metal music is like, yeah, this fucking slaps.
Oh.
So like, I'd recommend if you don't like metal, listen to Tool. And then, oh god, I guess we'll go to Dr. Doom as Connor called
MF
it.
Doom. Sorry.
MF Doom.
I knew that. I was just playing.
So MF Doom, yeah, as Connor said, is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
I've seen that YouTube video.
Yeah, you've seen that YouTube video.
He's like a legend. I've heard so much about this person, but I've never listened to their music.
Yeah. So basically, like Tyler the Creator and like fucking literally every like rapper everyone loves and has gotten big has been somehow inspired by MF Doom, just because he's like, he's like the hip hop fans hip hop. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because like, I feel like before MF Doom, the only like hip hop I ever really listened to growing up was like Eminem. But that's because Eminem back then was like fucking inescapable. Like during like Eminem show era, Eminem, like Eminem was everywhere, right? Like, so like, I feel back then I didn't really like take hip hop seriously or like rapping seriously other than Eminem. But then I listened to MF Doom and I was like, okay, hold on. This might actually be good. This might be some good music. Again, another artist you need to like listen to the lyrics.
Well, yeah, I remember that. I don't know who broke it down. Was it Vox or something?
Vox did a video on it. They did like an earworm video on it.
And I was like, this is amazing. I just don't know.
Yeah,
I just
don't know.
I don't think I could ever garner this by myself.
Or even
come close to garnering this by myself.
It's like when they tell you like why the piano is this specific piano is amazing. I'm like, I'm sure it is. It certainly looks the part, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, it's just like good music in general. Again, I'm having a hard time explaining why this is good to people who aren't on the same wave.
Well, any hardcore music fans here can appreciate your taste,
right.
I'm sure.
Yeah. If we were more hardcore into music, how would you explain it then? Because I am curious.
Okay, so
break it down for me. Break it down.
Focusing at 100%.
Break it down.
Okay, so Tool, for example, is like just this sound and like their singing style and the way they structure songs is like it just has like a flow to it. Like one song could have like 7 or 8 different parts that sound like 7 or 8 different songs, but somehow they can stitch that bitch up together and make it sound so cohesive and like together to the point where like you can listen through a 15-minute Tool song and it'll sound like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how long is a typical Tool song?
They're not actually too. I mean, they obviously have like long songs as well, but I think like average Tool song is maybe like 5-6 minutes.
It's quite long.
Which I guess is long, but I mean, like if you compare it to like say I don't know a Tangerine Dream song, like a standard Tangerine Dream song is like 20 minutes.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them, but that's a good name.
So Tangerine Dream is this German group.
Tangerine Dream?
Yeah, Tangerine Dream.
Yeah,
it's a great fucking band name. So they're a German group that like does like electronica and like ambient music.
Right.
And I put them there because this is the one group I used to listen to all the time in school while I was studying.
How did you find out about this band?
My dad showed me.
Okay, I was going to say. This seems
so
like
basically, I reckon everyone except maybe the bottom 3 here, I found out through my dad.
All right.
So like he
Damn, he raised you well, man.
Yeah.
But he's proud of you.
Yeah. So Tangerine Dream have been around. They're still around actually. They've been around for like 60 years almost.
Fucking hell.
I think they've been around since like the early 60s and they're still going. Yeah.
1968.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And they're still going. They have like I think they have like 400 studio albums or something. They have a big catalog. Like it's a stupid amount of albums they've made. But like basically they like they revolutionized like chill electronica, like meditation music, ambient music, that kind of stuff. And so it's like perfect study material, like because it's like there's no lyrics.
Better than lo-fi.
Better than lo-fi.
Should be that lo-fi hip hop girl.
Look, lo-fi hip hop girl wishes they were Tangerine. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like really good. Like Tangerine Dream, I would say is like perfect background music of just like if you're at like and like if you have like friends over and you're just like you just want to like hang out or you're like you have your fucking like I don't know fiance's parents over, right? And you don't want to sound you don't want to look weird by like putting on like Tool in the background, Tangerine Dream is like the music to go,
right?
Because it's just like it's just relaxing, it's inoffensive, it's just
I'll check it out.
Like they got like a lot of good songs. They did a lot of like movie soundtracks.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Any
so
movies I don't know?
There was this what was the Tom Cruise movie that they did the soundtrack to? They did a lot of soundtracks though, and like game soundtracks as well that they've done.
What?
Yeah. So
what kind of games?
I wish I could dude. They've done 400 albums. I don't fucking remember.
What?
Risky Business.
Risky Business. Yeah, they did the Risky Business soundtrack.
Oh wow.
Which is like probably one of their best albums. Yeah, they're literally just 3 German dudes who play a lot of like relaxing music.
God damn, they got a fucking work ethic.
They got a work ethic. And then I guess Nick Drake is this guy.
Who's that?
So Nick Drake is like he's like kind of he plays folk music. As if you couldn't tell from this picture. But he basically it's really hard to describe him. So he basically killed himself very early in his career.
Okay.
I think he was like 23, 24 when he killed himself. But he made this one album called Pink Moon.
Yeah.
And it's literally just him and a guitar.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's like super lo-fi. It's just him just like singing, just one guitar, occasionally maybe like a piano.
Right.
But like it's so like it's one of like look, like when it comes to like depression, like as a theme in music, a lot of artists have done it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. From like all sorts of different angles. In my opinion, Pink Moon is probably the most fucking hard hitting and like real album when it comes to like depression and exploring depression.
What makes you say that?
It's because like it's not only just like the tone of his singing and just the fact that it's just him and a guitar.
Yeah.
But it's like lyrics obviously.
Yeah.
He has this one song called I think it's called Black Dog. And it inspired a book called Black Dog, where it's like depression is like a black dog. It just like keeps coming back. And like that's from the song that he wrote. But it's like, I don't know, it's like it's beautiful, but it's like haunting.
Yeah.
It's really, really fucking haunting. And like every time I play this album, like there's just like a couple of songs that I just hit where I'm just like breakdown crying.
Well, I guess because you know how real the stuff.
Well,
you're
when
saying
someone's
about
in that
was,
state of mind, sometimes it's like sometimes you can't always express yourself or communicate that emotion without having a medium like music or something like that.
Like what I can say is that like Nick Drake is music, but what it's certainly not is entertainment.
Right.
It is
art.
the Oyasumi Punpun.
It is
music, right?
I would dare say it really is the Oyasumi. It is just like it is music in its purest artistic form.
Yeah.
Where it's like you don't put on a Nick Drake album to fucking jam out. You put on a Nick Drake album to like self-reflect and like, just kind of take it in.
Yeah.
And like, kind of learn from it, right? Because like he was super depressed. Like I'm talking like mega depressed from a child.
Yeah.
I
believe that.
Yeah. And and like it led him to take his own life, even though he was like extremely fucking talented. And he probably had a bright future ahead of him if he kept going. But
depression is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, so then he just kind of like gained a cult status because of that. And my sister actually like put me onto Nick Drake. Because I guess she was in like a stage in her life where she kind of was like in that mood.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like I found him in like the perfect time. And again, like this is not an artist I would recommend to people who want bangers.
I feel like that type of music or that type of media definitely has a place because especially like when you are in a dark place, sometimes you're not looking for like happy music or like things to cheer you up, but like listening to, I guess, someone who has been in that same emotional state as you, or maybe finding someone who you feel is in that same emotional state as you. There's like a comfort knowing that at least you're not like the only one who's feeling like this now.
And when I was in that like moment in my life as well and listening to Nick Drake, I think this album cheered me up more than any fucking album.
Yeah, it's weird because when I'm really depressed and really sad, listening to depressing music cheers me up.
Yeah.
Like it's like listening to happy music just makes me more depressed.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like,
why are they happy and I'm not?
How dare this beat like be this like upbeat and like happy? How dare these people be happy? But you listen to depressing songs and I'm just like, fuck man, I'm not alone.
I'm not the only one.
I'm not the
exactly.
only one. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like I feel listening to happy music while depressed just does the opposite effect because it makes you go, how come they're happy but I'm not?
Yeah.
I can't relate to this happy mood right now because that's not where I am.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in this fucking dark, depressing, like somber moment, and I need something that can like complement that feeling.
Yeah.
So that's why I love Nick Drake. And then I talked about MF Doom, American Football. So they're pretty much. I think they're a recent like addition to like my favorite bands, but they made me fall in love with this genre of music called Midwest emo.
What? What?
There is a genre of music called Midwest emo.
You know, people say genres out loud, and I just think you're just lying. Like I just like
like at this point, like I feel like music, most of all, like people just make up genres.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course
like
they do.
It's music like, most of all.
Yeah,
right?
of course they do. They're just like it's not punk. It's just some derivative of punk. We don't want to be the same as those punk bands. Like,
so what's so good about them then?
Okay, so
why do you like? It's emo country.
No.
Emo Midwest. Midwest emo.
Midwest emo.
How do you define Midwest emo?
What's Midwest?
It is emo made by bands who have lived in the Midwest America.
So what is the difference between Midwest emo and emo?
Okay, so
in terms of sound.
Is there a southern emo?
I'm sure there is, but I wouldn't be aware of it. So Midwest emo is like, so basically these guys founded the genre. And like the indie scene for the past like 20 years has been just filled with Midwest emo bands.
It has?
Yeah. They're like there's a lot of bands who have gotten big off like Bandcamp and like SoundCloud and like Spotify and stuff that are in this genre. And it's like, how do I explain Midwest emo? It's like It's like indie rock and math rock with folk music.
What is math rock?
My God,
This is where I don't
I have to explain
understand.
math rock now.
This is a problem because like every time I speak to people who really know music,
Yeah.
you start saying things to me, and I'm like, you're just lying. Like you're just lying. Like why isn't that on iTunes? That thing? Am I stupid? Like
It is on iTunes, probably.
it probably is now, but
Yeah.
like to me, it's like, are we categorizing music too much? Like,
I mean, I guess, but that's because I feel music just in general has expanded to so far that like it's just like it's kind of a shame to just throw it all away as just rock or
that's
pop.
true, I guess. Maybe this is just my own inability to understand it, and so I'm just like, why?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing with like electronic music, right? Like you have electronica, you have house, you have trance, you have techno.
I guess so.
Whereas like
That's
someone
true.
who doesn't like music would be like, it's just all electronica.
It's just the beeps and the boops.
It's just the beeps and the boops, right? So same
That's
thing
true,
with
actually.
so Midwest emo is like it's as the name suggests, a lot of the lyrical themes are very depressing. But it's not like folk music, like strictly. It's not like a
Okay.
Nick Drake. It's like there's a band behind it. Usually a lot of the songs can be upbeat, but usually the lyrical contents are very depressing. Hence the emo.
So that makes it emo when it's depressing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like emo. This is gonna sound really bad. Midwest emo is like Nick Drake if you were privileged. like if you were like
I don't know if that's a hot take.
if you
or not. I
like
don't
if you
understand
were
enough
like
about
if
music.
you know
We're
it's
getting
like
into like so many layers right now.
it's like Midwest emo is like it's coming from bands who like have lived in like the Midwest in small towns where like it's
Yeah.
not like they're born into like poverty or like
Just kinda
you know
shit.
yeah it's just like they kind of just like lived in a town that's in the middle of nowhere in the Midwest, not a whole lot to do except get sad about shit because they don't because they have like I
Because
don't
you're
know
from like Minnesota.
Suburban emo.
yeah it is like suburban emo. That's the only way.
I just made that up.
It is literally it is
I just made a new genre of music right now.
It is emo rock
Yeah.
with mixes of folk music for people who live in suburban Midwest areas.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paramore?
Yeah, so
Paramore, okay.
Paramore kind of took Midwest emo sound and put a little bit more of like a punk twist on it.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're a little more like upbeat, right? But
like
they're still
Paramore.
like, the lyrical context of like Paramore songs are still very much like, like I'm feeling depressed because this girl doesn't like me and she
Yeah,
left me
true.
and it's like my town has nothing, my friends have all moved away, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So American football is that. And
Okay.
through American football, I found so you know how Spotify has that like Spotify
Yeah.
rap.
Yeah.
Midwest emo was number 2 for me last year.
Oh.
And like American football was like a big reason for that.
Wow.
Because I just listened
listen
to a
to
lot
that
of American
much?
football.
Goddamn.
Like not just American football. There's like
But,
a
like, other
lot
bands,
of
right?
other like Midwest emo. And I basically just found this like large pool of Midwest emo bands and they're all fucking amazing.
What appeals to you about Midwest emo?
Yeah. That's such a random
It is, right?
such a random genre of music.
It's I don't know. For one, like the music is just good. Like it
Yeah.
sounds good. It's like performed well. Like because it's like got blends of math rock, which is like very like technical rock and like technical guitar.
Okay.
I just love that sound
okay.
in general. Like Japan does a lot of really good math rock. Like Japan has its own like branch of math rock called Japanese math rock. And like Japan is like really fucking good at just like like okay like Dean to Shigure, for instance, right? Like the like the opening to Psychopaths, the first opening. Yeah, that's math rock.
Oh,
Where it's like very technical guitar.
Didn't know that.
And it's just like very like waily.
fair enough.
But Midwest emo kind of takes a lot of that style of just like technical guitar, which just as a guitarist I can appreciate for one.
That makes sense.
like one thing I always want to know is like how much do you appreciate music in like a technical sense or like a theory sense where obviously you're like way more musically trained than say I am. So like how much does that play into your taste in music or your appreciation of music in general?
I mean, if I hear something, I'm just like, oh, what did he just do there? Then obviously I'm gonna like perk my ears up, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna fall in love with a band just because they're technical.
right.
That makes
Because
sense,
again, at the end
yeah.
of the day, if
It's
your music
feeling,
isn't
right?
good,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's not good, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've listened to a lot of like Midwest emo and like even like metal, like technical metal bands and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where I'm like, yeah, you're technical, you are skilled,
Yeah.
but the music isn't really for me, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and then I guess finally is the only Japanese guy is Maeda Jun. He basically...
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he wrote music for like Clannad, Air,
He also wrote Clannad.
He also wrote Clannad,
What?
Air, and Canon.
Yeah, and
So-
Angel Beats,
yeah.
basically every key.
So basically, what
anime.
makes Maeda Jun my
Is this because you got into the gacha recently? From
That too. But what makes Maeda Jun my fucking idol is
Yeah.
just, again, the fact that this man can single-handedly write a story, write characters, and just write all the music for it. Just single-handedly. Like,
It must be an advantage though that you can like, you know the characters and the story better than anyone.
Right,
You can
but
craft the whole.
But like,
around it.
I don't know, like, of course I like, you know, I look up to this guy just for like his ability to like tell a story. Because
Yeah.
like Clannad and like Air and Canon and Angel Beats are like, you know, great stories, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think the one thing that makes I appreciate Maeda Jun is just how fucking musically talented he is.
Yeah.
Because not only can he write like somber like piano tracks that have no lyrics at all, like the entirety of the Clannad soundtrack, and make me cry like a fucking
Yeah,
baby.
I cried.
But he can write fucking bangers as well. Like, you know, any of the Angel Beats songs
Yep.
are like
They're really
absolute fucking like Girls Dead Monster, that fictional band he created in Angel Beats. Every song is a fucking banger. I'm like, you can write bangers and you can make me cry. Like,
Pretty impressive. I didn't know that.
like how do you do that?
I didn't know that.
And
at
so,
all.
like, you were talking about the gacha game I got into.
Yeah.
So, Key recently released a gacha game called Heaven Burns Red,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first fully Maeda Jun produced game in 15 years.
Huh.
And so he wrote the story.
Is it a visual novel?
It's kind of like, it's very dialogue intensive because it's a
Okay.
fucking Maeda Jun game.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's like a turn-based RPG kind of thing as well.
Okay.
Of course, it has gacha. So
Of course.
you know I'm
But it's
gonna
got his
love it.
music.
Yeah, so he wrote the story, he wrote the character designs, he came up with the character designs,
Huh.
he came up with the scenario, and he wrote all the music for it.
Fucking hell.
Well, that's why he hasn't been doing anime recently, hasn't it?
Exactly.
All this time in gacha games.
I mean, it's also because he's been like extremely sick
yeah,
as
true,
well.
true.
Oh man.
Like the whole, like, you know, the whole theme in like Angel Beats about
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
heart thing, that's just based off his own life.
Oh Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
because he has like a
Fucking
chronic
hell.
like heart like
This guy's a
disease or
beast
something.
then. He's done so much.
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, he wrote. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if this is true, but I think he wrote Angel Beats in the hospital bed.
Seriously?
Yeah, while he was admitted to hospital, he wrote Angel Beats.
What the fuck? What a fucking bamf.
And
man.
it's just and he's just like, he's a bamf. Like, and the
Yeah,
fact that
goddamn.
like, again, like, this man doesn't miss. Not just like
He don't miss.
He don't miss. Like even in the new game, like the story is great, the characters are great, and the music fucking slaps.
So I guess everything else just lifts your enjoyment of the music more.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Knowing
it's
that
like,
all
and I
catered.
feel like you know, we were saying earlier that like Fully Cooley as well, right?
Yeah.
Like Pillows, I was very close to putting Pillows because that's just like,
pinches it out for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think Maeda Jun just pinches it out for me because like, as much as I love the Fully Cooley soundtrack, the first soundtrack that made me fall in love with anime soundtracks was Clannad, because like, again, as a pianist myself.
Yeah.
Listening to like piano music that makes me fucking break down crying like a
Go
bitch.
perform it.
And it's like I can't even like learn to play these songs without crying.
right.
Right. And it's like that's
wholesome.
And that's like really hard to do as
Yeah.
someone who like, you know, because as someone who writes music, I strive to do that to people.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact that this guy can do it over and over and over again with like everything he also writes is like, how do you do that?
Why can one man have all that talent?
Okay.
It's not fair.
I'm just saying, man,
Hey,
Key,
dude.
Key would not be where they are without this guy.
Hey, sometimes you see someone and you're like,
I hate you.
you're a bit too talented.
Yeah, I hate
like,
this is unfair.
And he's good looking, like
yeah.
as if I couldn't like give me something to hate
Like
about you.
God obviously didn't love all humans equally because he made you.
He made
And
Maeda Jun.
he made Maeda Jun.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not fair. I wish I had a sliver of the talent this guy has.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I guess
Well, damn,
that's
thank you
my
so much.
3x3.
It was very. I
was-
feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah, I
didn't really
learned
know
I learned
anything.
way more than me talking myself or listening to Connor.
I don't know,
talk.
man. I feel a little bit pushed back because I was like, I need to somehow top the Garnt living an anime Beck story.
You can't top that.
I couldn't top it, so I was
Call
like,
that the Slumdog Millionaire. We're just living in Garnt's life. We're not in this. Garnt's story is
yeah.
his
I
own.
will
swear-
forever live in that shadow.
I
I know.
swear I have mentioned
You
before
have not.
I've been
You
in
have
a
not.
band. Just
Yeah,
like
the same way everyone's been in a band.
Yeah.
It's like no,
What
you
does
know,
that mean?
I've been in like 6 bands, but I never had a cool story like that.
I thought when I said I was in a band, everyone had the similar experience. I don't know.
No, you're wrong.
Wait, so what normally happens when you're in a band then? Do you,
You
not
just kinda
play
like-
gigs?
You
pretend
you go to the drummer's house, you play a couple of cover songs.
That's it.
And then you're like, all right, cool. See you never again.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You sing Smash Mouth once. Yeah.
What's the point of forming a band if you're not going to play gigs?
How are you going to play a gig? How are you going to arrange that? You're
How do you
like
play
12.
gigs?
We're fucking dumb as fuck. How did you get a gig?
It's fucking easy in Brighton. There's so many.
Oh yeah, in Brighton, yeah. In Sydney, it's pretty fucking difficult because there's no music.
Wales, it's just fields. Where am I going to perform, Garnt? Where am I going to sing Smash Mouth to?
The sheep.
Where am I going to sing All Star, Garnt? Think about this.
There's like 5 gigs going on every weekend in Brighton, so I guess I did take that.
I can't even top you when it comes to like band names either, because like that band name is just like fuck. Like the best band name I was in was Resting Bitch Face. But that's just because the lead singer had a resting bitch face.
It's always like that. It's like Cheeto Puffs. Why is it called Cheeto? I always like it.
Yeah.
It's going to bite us in the ass in 10 years when we have copyright infringement problems.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll just deal with it. But damn, I guess that was our trash taste in music.
Yeah.
Let us know down below what you thought about it. And
Who has the trashiest taste in music?
Me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Probably like I had a hard time explaining why I liked my music.
No, you did not. What are you fucking on about? You did it perfect.
You had the longest
You
segment.
literally had amazing stories for every single reason.
I literally just like I did like the thing is I didn't even talk about the music.
That doesn't matter.
But you had like a Kishimoto filler arc worth of stories for every single band you talked about.
Man. You fuck off. Miss me with that shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, you know who doesn't miss us with that shit? The patrons.
Hell yeah,
Who are on
look
screen
at
right
that.
now. This guy has great taste in music.
They love,
What a great
they
time.
love
All of these
Midwest
guys
emo.
have amazing taste in music.
Yeah, absolutely cracking taste in music.
But hey, if you like to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify.
We're gonna make a new genre of music right now. We're gonna call it trashcore.
Fart funk.
Yeah, Weebcore, right?
Weebcore, trashcore.
I came up with Weebcore. Put that on the wiki. Coined the term Weebcore. All right, see you guys next time.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.